Okay. There we go. And the audio came into. Okay, perfect. Whew. Boy. Oh, geez. Also, I see you, Drowsy. uh, so yesterday, I was supposed to stream this. I went to go hang out with my friends and play and buy some Magic the Gathering cards or the Final Fantasy set because it's going to end up being my crack at this point. I set everything up. I had my mix-up open, my OBS open, my game set. I didn't have the announcement on like Blue Sky and the technically Discord available yet, but that's fine. Get ready, start the game, start the stream, check my Steam, and I'm like, oh, you haven't downloaded it yet. I had it because the Prologue is the free version. So I had that like added to the library, but I never installed it. And I was like, well, it could be quick, right? Started it up, 45 minutes. Yeah, I'm not streaming today. Yeah, no, we're not doing that today. Nah, no, we're good. So, I quit. I stopped my stream. I let it finish downloading after about roughly 45 minutes, and then just chilled for the rest of the day, which honestly was pretty nice. But now we actually gonna play through this. This game better be good, worth the wait. She looks like Kafka a little bit from Honkai. But anyway, today we're playing Of the Devil, which is said to be I guess it was a cyberpunk murder mystery game that is like episodic, like your Telltales and your whatnots and so on. And there's an episode 1 out for this game, but in episode 1 it's going to be, I looked it up how long to beat. It's like takes a while, and I have other games I'm going to be playing soon. So I was like, well, here's what I'll do. I'll give myself and my viewers a taste of this game with a prologue, and then if we decide to come back to this later on, which you probably will, we can always come back because only episode 1 is out other than the prologue. So once episode 2 drops, I feel like we can just spend like a month or so and then play through episode 1 and episode 2. And then I'm sure there's probably gonna be like more episodes. I bet you there's like probably like 5 or 6 with these type of games. No less than 4, I would say. So yeah. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah. Episode 0, buy episode 1, and then wish list for episode 2. Alright. Rain sizzles off neon above me. The summer shower creates a noted uptick in the flickering of holograms down the street, and a slight blunting of the night's ambience. Emphasis on slight. Hold on for a second, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit because it is loud in my ear. But if I turn it down here, I'll turn it up for everyone else. There we go. Alright. Lights, cameras, and constant noise. This city has got insomnia, with an uneven heart rate to prove it. There's no escaping the secondhand nervous energy of it all, but I'm plenty acclimated. There's a wave of worries requested on the surface while I hold my breath deep below. I'll do one thing. Now I'm clear to go. Besides, a microdose of nightlife anxiety suits my mood just fine. Because if I'm not careful, this client of mine's gonna die in jail. Morgan, criminal attorney. It's hard to get away with murder these days. People are still presumed innocent, at least on paper. But by the time they're in cuffs, there's hardly any shadows of doubt left. Because this whole world's lit up, mapped out, never unknown and always online. Oh my god, like sorta online. Whether it's incandescent or neon or hollow, whether it's LCD, LED, or just the nearest phone screen, there's a light shining on every last pixel of the map. And someone's always watching. Solitude is a rarity, anonymity is scarce, and criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. So you take whatever clients you can get. You don't balk at public defender work, no matter the hour. And should you find yourself on the last dark, quiet corners left in the whole world, well, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Not that there's much else I can do until my phone. Okay. Ooh. Present your idea. Present your idea at the door to enter. 15 minutes early. Looks like the paperwork came through. It's nearly 3:15 now. 90 minutes since I took the job. Probably a mix of about 2 hours since they finally got smart enough to ask for a lawyer. If they're really smart, they'll have used that time to get some rest. Because now that I'm here, things are going to get busy. And he shall appear. We'll keep tutorials. As a player, I wouldn't necessarily need them, but as a game developer, I always like to see what they're like. Using 254. It's the goddamn ghost town. With nothing but a hologram for a welcoming party. I'm here about a homicide. High clearance rate to be damned. You think they'd treat it with a little more gravitas. Gravitas? Yeah. But whatever. If I'm that unimportant, they've got no right to complain if I take my sweet time getting checked in. I should take my time. Information's like cash in my line of work. You gotta spend it to make it. If you're flat broke, no one will give a shit what you have to say. Let's see if I can poke around and shake some change loose. Okay, heads up. Escape. That's the pause menu. Okay. You can toggle on auto text with A or check reread with L. Okay. Use mouse look around, click on, and space to find them automatically. So space is easy mode, and then mouse is not as easy mode. You earn credit for investigating anything and everything you can. Credit is both a measure of your information gathering skills and your own credibility. Interesting. So don't go broke. Interesting. Okay, so it tells us what you can observe anyway, but which is fine. With a game like this, it's probably better that they do that. An actual police lineup. It's like I walked into a museum. The museums tend to feel expensive and clean. Dusty, forgotten, probably lots of unpacked boxes. This homicide detective department's more like an attic. Oh, I got an achievement for getting my first credit. Hard to believe they're ever so busy that they had witnesses making IDs in the hot lobby. Then again, it's hard to believe they were ever doing lineups in the first place. Are you certain? Wasn't it dark? Did you know that during dramatic events, memory formation is blah blah blah? Poking holes in that setup must have been like shooting fish in a barrel, and all during billable hours. But there's no room to sow doubt anymore. Not when a modded witness can just submit their testimony as a video recording, assuming their phone didn't automatically file a police report for them. Interesting. High traffic hallways, utilitarian furnishing, multiple screen stations, pragmatic brutalism, so textbook it could teach freshman level architecture. Can almost hear the building drone on and on about concrete and iron and hard right angles. The civil planning equivalents of battle scars. From a fight won so long ago that they're starting to look ridiculous. I'm sure it was all very imposing back when it was built, but walking in here now with crime rates where they are feels like a hospice ward for heavy-handedness. A data pad? I'll bite. Even when they're more advertisement than article, they can still be informative in a flowery, roundabout corporate propaganda sort of way. Keep an eye out for articles in the environment. They offer insight on the world around you and credit towards your investigation. articles added to your opponent's reading list after you first read them. Choose a proper takeaway after reading them, and you earn. Ooh, that's cool. So it's not just that you can read a fucking like newspaper. You can fucking read a newspaper, and then if you discern what's the important part of the newspaper, you can get more information out of it. Time to put my critical thinking to a test. Okay. Whew. Am I reading all this out loud? No, I'm not reading all this out loud. Hybrid super infrastructure. Okay. Sounds like a dumbass fucking name, but okay, whatever. The canopy. Okay. That seems important. I mean, the yellow stuff obviously seems important. The highlighted stuff. Councilman's long campaign fan. I just feel like Liz. Okay, so corrupt government. Okay, yeah, we got that. And okay. And with Long having stepped away from his political duties in order to more fully cooperate with investigators. Okay, so this is the guy who's suspected of corruption. But subway's now officially no longer an option. Okay. People corporations alike will have a little choice for how long they complete their morning commute. That sucks, but okay. Tech startup Subterra. Okay. Personal submarine taxi pods. You use the flooded subway tunnels. Huh. Oh boy, 3,000 over budget. I'm also eating Wendy's on the side, so if you hear me chewing in the mic, it's that. It appears that you have 0 free articles remaining this month. Please verify your account information in order to continue reading the stories that matter. That's a little ballsy. That matter. Ballsy of them putting the paywall there. As if I had to reach for my wallet after I to read a word like aesthetical. So I got the gist of it. The takeaway is that the city will be focusing its efforts on there'll be increased scrutiny surrounding the canopy now that there's no plan B, because Subterra doesn't really work because it's $3,000 fucking dollars over budget. Okay. It's a massive project with a massive budget. Lions with pockets of a lot of people, big and small. None of them would appreciate bad press in the moment, not when Councilman Long's already thoroughly chummed the waters. Okay. The medium's cracked in the corner. Looks bad, but my phone's made of the same stuff, and I'm rolling the dice every time it falls off the sofa. The same stuff. Oh, correct. Terms. Boy, howdy. Oh, no. Okay. You gotta be careful when you give people a lot of information in a game like this, because sometimes you may not, be able to determine what's important and what's not. Looks bad. Wait, okay, I said this already. You probably know the warranty on one of these things with a loud sneeze. At least it's not broken entirely. Even at this hour, it's still dutifully scrolling through its notifications. Looks like the usual 1-to-1 ratio of a public health alerts and inoffensive pop culture trivia you always get served at state buildings. Did you know that in the hit movie E.T., the alien is not real? But there's a few missing persons too. 1 year of silver plan coverage courtesy of Catechus. Yeah, I'll say Catechus. Catechus as a reward for any. Silver's no joke. Really must be getting desperate. Alright. I've taken all the scenery and learned as much as I can here. Time to get checked in. It booted up fine. So far, so good. Good morning. Morgan, here for the public defender contract. Could you please provide your name and... Wait, please stand still for a moment. I wouldn't call intake hall as charming. More like harmless. That's probably what the designers were aiming for. People don't mind a crook or two in their tech so long as it never speaks out of turn. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm having trouble placing you. Could you please provide your name and date of birth? So far so good, was it? Say, why don't you just scan my ID card? Great. Now could you just confirm your date of birth for me? Why do they even bother asking? My birthday isn't the same on the damn ID card and my profile. Hold on. December 26th. Okay. Just in case they ask me to. Likes puzzles? Nice. Smoking? Not nice. Wooden furniture? Nice. Dislikes commercials? Fair. Hairdressers? I guess. And jogging. Okay, I can understand that. Fall asleep in any position. God, I wish I had this fucking talent. Coffee. Decaf? Nice. Drink whiskey sour. I've never had a whiskey sour. What? I forgot what my blood type is. I have to be a world-class airhead to get this question wrong. No problem. My birth is December 26th. Perfect. Good morning, walking counselor. Thank you for your timely arrival and for taking on this public defender's contract. Doesn't say what her last name is. If you're ready to speak to your client, you can proceed to counseling quarters 3C. Is that what we're calling it now? You mean the interrogation room? I'm sorry to have caused any confusion. My vocabulary is regularly updated to better reflect state standards. Don't sweat it. I can't keep track of every new euphemism either. They could call it the involuntary wellness check room if they like. Doesn't change the way it makes people feel sitting in a stifled box of one-way panels. Nothing to see but their own reflection duly worked again across gunmetal walls. Welcome, counselor. Can I help you with anything else? Choices that progress the story, and choices that represent side topics react differently to your mouse. Use keys 1 to 5 and keyboard to choose dialogue choices from top to bottom. Because of what you read earlier, you've unlocked an additional choice, this dialogue. Okay, cool. We'd examine any opportunity to build up your knowledge and get most out of every conversation. I know the city is not terribly concerned with the low awards, but this is a police station. Why is it so goddamn dusty? This facility is currently undergoing renovations. Since when? The 60s? It has been 22 months since the timetable was last updated. They really don't see a lot of action around here, do they? Sorry for any inconvenience you might have encountered. I'm adaptable. What about you? They ever gonna fix that crack? Thank you for asking. It has not interfered with my work. Well, that's all that matters, right? What are you? I'm a smart user interface proudly sold by Noble Electronics. Thank you for asking. If you're interested, I can send you a link with information about our subscription packages. Should I send you a link with information about our subscription packages? No. Sorry. That was a mean question to ask. That'll be all, thank you. You can't just ask someone that. You'll find the counseling quarters back past our homicide detective's office through the door to your right. Thanks. I think it's just me for now. You can go on break if you like. Automated dependents do not take breaks, Vulcan counselor. AD. As automated dependent is a catch-all term encompassing robots, intelligent programs, interactive holograms, and androids. That's fucking cool. They found a word to describe all of that. That's nice. President, okay. Lobbies push for new tax classification to define intelligent machines that are neither salaried employees nor more equipment. Okay. Interesting. Artificial intelligences. Isn't this illegal? Interesting. What were you doing before I walked in? You'll find the through the door to the right. Thank you. Ads don't get breaks, and they don't get my jokes. But it's usually the humorless types that are the most fun to mess with anyway. That was weird. Froze for a second. Eyes gone bad or something? A voice. No, voice is coming from down the hall. Compared to yours? Probably. Thank God I stopped for directions. The building is empty. The desk clerk just told me to follow the voice with the echoes. One voice sounds older, rougher, and decidedly low energy. Appreciate you worrying about me. God forbid I try to be serious. While the other rings with youthful indignation. It's not like our job is important or anything. Definitely cops. At this precinct, at this hour, at this time, located entirely in your kitchen? Yes. May I see it? No. They might be the only two living, breathing people in the whole complex. So why else would you bother to print all that out? One document of 100 looks the same on a data pad. Anytime you question a suspect, you need to have a heavy file on hand. Makes them think you know them better than their priest, their mother, their big brother. I wasn't gonna say that. So how many of those sheets were blank then? No red carpet tonight, officers? Oh, sorry about that, ma'am. We don't keep many extra hands around at these hours. Probably faster to let the desk handle intake anyway. I like the character design so far that I've seen in this game. It's not Danganronpa. It's like a step towards Danganronpa, but it's not Danganronpa. I can't believe I'd use Danganronpa as an art style now to define things, but we've reached that point anyway. I mean, it's been around for what, a decade if at the very least, so I'm pretty sure, right? Oh, but mostly cheaper. You the lawyer? I am. Morgan Esquire, pleased to meet you. Same here, counselor. Quasi-remote London. Good cop, bad cop? And the ball of sunshine here is my partner of Pharaoh A's. Ball of sunshine? She certainly is. Huh? Sorry if you're keeping waiting. Chatter between the departments has been hectic all night. It's no trouble. Gave me time to enjoy my cigarette. Cigarette? Like tobacco? What are you, 80? How dare you? She can't be more than a few years younger than me. We're at the detectives in charge of this particular case. It looks like tonight we're also your humble guides to the illustrious homicide department. Apologies in advance for any cobwebs. Pretty sure I've seen this London character around the courthouses before. He never struck me as more than just some old-timer. But I suppose being an old-timer is an accomplishment in itself in his profession. Sunshine is definitely a new face, though. Rigid in her posture and her attitude. 3 in the morning and her shirt still looks ironed. It's 3 o'clock in the damn morning? Oh wait, they did mention that earlier. Freshly promoted, maybe? 2 whole detectives working at these hours? Sounds serious. Unless you were just the first to arrive on the scene. No, we're not nearly that timely. That uniforms responded to the emergency calls within a few minutes. Calls, plural, must have been quite the commotion. Look around. You think we're the first to arrive for anything? She's not wrong. We were only tapped after circumstances at the scene indicated an involvement with an ongoing investigation. Our ongoing investigation. Not very subtle, is she? But I might as well bite at this point. So you should suspect that this client of mine is involved with some separate criminal activity? Wait, did they really not? No, I guess they wouldn't put it in a public defender's briefing. Look, consider this a professional courtesy, a fair warning, yeah? That's the heartbreak killer in that room. And we've got the bastard dead to rights. So if you're kind, you'll help him plead it out. And if you're smart, you'll pass this shitstorm onto some other night owl and go back to bed. I'm not feeling particularly kind or smart at the moment. So perhaps in the meantime, you'd be so polite as to fill me in about this heartbreak killer. They cover utilities at the rock you live under? Okay. Is there a problem? You're seriously not familiar with HK? Never heard of him. Heard enough of him for a lifetime. That name has been plastered all over the city for weeks, the crimes waving between breaking news and urban legend. The presumed goals flip-flopping from unadulterated anarchy to unappreciated vigilantism. At street corners, in the media, on the net, everyone's indulging in that exact kind of armchair detective speculation that I can't stand. But right now, I need to figure out exactly how much the police do or don't know. When it comes to cops, I always get better results playing dumb than I do acting smart. I take it he's a repeat offender? Was it the killer part that tipped you off? No, it was the heartbreak part. Come on now, lady. You must have at least heard about his MO. Media's gone crazy about it. What, does he steal hearts? Along with everyone else. One bullet straight through the heart. Body left to lie where it falls. Hence the name Heartbreak. Dislikes getting caught. Likes killing. Their color probably red. Like I'm probably not into astrology. Award suspended due to influx of false reports. Interesting. Okay. Oh, hold on, let's go back. Like Spice Lime's automotive history. Interesting. It's like liars, small plates, and cheap people. We would not get along. Enjoys watching product reviews. Bad at games of chance. White Eye Osiris Elite 86. Interesting. Like her right or my right? Let's see. Likes photography, dive bars, bangs. Dislikes ties, pollen, after hours work massages. Oh, not work messages. I was like, why would you like a massage? Messages. I get along with this guy, I think. Likes listens to podcasts, hobby, pencil sketching, frequently running late. Yeah, that sounds all right. Not exactly creative, but admits the swirl of every other 100-word article out there, catchiness trumps originality. What you won't read about online is that all 6 of HK's victims were shot by the same gun. Which makes sense without even needing to reload. Oh, there we go. Okay. Horrible to say, I know, but 6 for 6? That's pretty good shooting, isn't it? Hitting the bullseye at shooting range is good shooting. Doing it 6 times in a row is great. But shooting 6 people with accuracy like that? It's a whole different beast. There's a certain kind of monster, a real freak. His pulse probably didn't even rise. I see. You almost make him sound like a machine. Is it possible that... No, it's not. There's no such thing as killer robots, madam. Of course, my mistake. So all those androids marching in the military, those robots patrolling in police uniforms, those drones dropping firebombs from the sky. I guess they're all firing blanks. Fair enough. Machines can kill, and they have been for decades, but they don't commit murder. What got Asimov's laws again? Evil like heartbreak is all organic. That's a pretty terrifying thought. I should really start paying more attention to the news. How I managed to miss 6 murders. Well, you can only blame yourself for missing 5. Pardon? You're still not getting it? HK's 6th victim was found a few hours ago, when we caught the son of a bitch red-handed. So you're convinced that my client is this heartbreak killer and tonight was just his latest crime? That's a serious accusation with very serious consequences. I take it you have some serious evidence to back it up? I was being literal, counselor. Red-handed. When you found your client, he was covered in her blood. Well, that's not good, is it? That is very not good, in fact. What you say certainly sounds compelling. Is that lawyer talk for open and shut? But even if that's the case, how does one crime scene make him look good for 6 murders? It's all in the discovery files. And the arcs, of course. Augmented reality crime scenes. Oh my god, we have augmented reality crime scenes in this game. Yes, let's fucking go. What's up? We were watching, me and my friends were watching, what's it called? Pluto? What's that one, like, detective, like a murder mystery robot anime that was on, like, Netflix or whatever? And there's a scene where they have someone come in and basically have, like, an augmented reality, like, setup of a complete crime scene, and they use it to, like, get more information, and I remember being like, this is the coolest fucking thing. Like, I need more of this. That or that one, what's that one movie that came out with like Hugh Jackman, I think, where like they can like go into people's memories to find stuff, like Remembrance, I think it was called. That movie had its problems, but I thought that it was really cool in the fact that like what was I gonna say? They had this whole thing that you can look into people's memories, but then they also had a system where like you can only have a permit as a detective or cop to like go only a certain amount of like years back in someone's memories. So let's say someone committed a murder like 20 years ago. If you only had a permit for like 19 years, like they can only go back 19 years, you don't have permission to like go and use anything before 19 years. And I thought that was really cool. So like they incorporated that as a world-building idea. Join a local net on your phone and we'll turn over everything you need. I'll bet. Thanks for that, detective. I'll be sure to read it over. But if it's all the same, can I ask you two some questions while I got you here? The hell kind of attorney wants to interrogate the detectives? This kind of attorney. You're just that pleasant. Come on, sunshine. Not like we're going to be punching out anytime soon, right? Whatever. Let your client stew an interrogation all night for all I care. You mean the counseling quarters? We're at your disposal, counselor. Oh boy, there is some screen tearing going on right now. Hold on. Is there a VSync? No. Oh. No. Resolution 59, target. Fine. Oh. I don't know if, wait, I don't think you guys can see it on your side. I don't know, it's weird. You guys can't see it on your side, on OBS and like on stream probably, but I can see it on my side. And it's pretty bad. Oh. It's like really bad. Interesting that doesn't show up on the stream though. Maybe my monitor specifically is fucking up. Barren, stark, and uninviting. This must be Ray's desk. Keeping your workstation neat and tidy is admirable, but I can't spot a single note of personalization. Is she so new that she hasn't had any time to unpack, or is she really that uptight and boring? Both, maybe. You shouldn't have cleaned up so much as for little old me, Detective London. Someone really needs to introduce this guy to a filing system. Or even just a stapler. Paper documents scattered about lazily alongside actual photographs. Either he's an old-fashioned or really paranoid about data leaks. And he doesn't look like the paranoid type. Well, ordinance aside, some things are better in paper, I'll give him that. A new data thing. Noble Electronic stock was a stunning 3%. Noble announced that the 16th line would be the first generation of androids to feature over 50% organic components. Interesting. Okay. So becoming more human than the machine? Almost done with my Wendy's drink. I'm gonna miss it already. That's practical due to increased maintenance costs, cuts, scratches, bruises, and the like. Just some Blade Runner shit right now. More business-focused minds fear that Noble was alienating its customers in its industrial and military sectors. Okay. Noble's doubters have been proven wrong. The Animate 16 is poised to break profitability records. The masses can now be more familiar with the human-like robots. Yay! Work of the lead programmer, Dr. David Asher. Hashtag Noble Industry Weekend. His Turing solution. Oh boy. And they got the Turing test shit going on in this game too. And of course, the main genius, like fucking inventor for some robotic shit is nowhere to be seen. He's in the news again. It's no wonder can't spit it without landing on a piece of noble tech these days. Especially not where the state's involved. I don't know if they'll bite when it comes to warm androids though. For government use, they're just... It's expensive to justify. Wait, what am I thinking? No state's ever had problem with spending more money on price crap. No, I fucked up. Take me back. They're too frail. Loose wires, missing panels, an aircon system, an AC system that probably sweats more than the people it's supposed to cool. Removing the budget for making the office not look like shit, huh? I expected to find a lot of belt tightening at Homicide, but I didn't know the operations would be this bare bones. They've got stunning clearance rate and they work fast. Because the city sees that and just assumes their job is easy. Oh god, it's just like my job. Maybe their job is easy. What with our dear, doting surveillance state that's eliminating so much of the front footwork. But if your wheels don't squeak, you don't get your palms greased. The Homicide ends up as the only state department with a shrinking budget. A dumping ground for the police force's most unambitious and least popular. Okay, nothing else jumps out at me around here. I've got a better idea of who I'm dealing with at least. I need to check out the crime scene data. I should have sent a link. C to confirm. No, apply a C to confirm. You need to apply a C in order to confirm. Am I talking to a person? I'm an automated dependent. Ads are usually more polite. Our personalities are tailored to suit our users' preferences. So the state likes you to be a little authoritarian. You need to apply with C. C. Does it need the uppercase? It's case sensitive. Fuck you. Fuck you. C. Thank you. Alright, if I project from my phone, It's like a Unity. Yippee! A crime scene! Why did I sound so happy saying that? God, I got a problem. Let's see what the police have and what they think is important. Oh, that's part of this, I'm guessing. A stand-up mirror shattered and knocked over. Real glass, no screens or cameras here. It was hit hard enough to come unattached from its arm, with parts of glass was scattered far enough to land on the victim's body. Oh, here's the evidence. I was wondering when to get evidence stuff. What a mess. Seems like this vase got tossed aside at some point, and yet there's not a scratch on it. It must have been pretty damn durable. Isn't art supposed to be delicate? Maybe it's making a statement. What? How is that not something over here? The fuck? Oh, I guess a gun. Fine. The murder weapon, a revolver, found it right next to the body. 6 empty casings found in each of the 6 chambers mean the gun's been fired 6 times. The crime scene text practically disassembled the damn thing, but they already found a fingerprint belonging to my client. So he was found by the police with the murder weapon right in front of the body. They don't even know where to start. Highly prejudicial would be an understatement. What if the victim was the killer? The victim's body? Because then that would make sense. Now get my guy off. The victim's body. Cause of death, ballistic trauma, case IV blood loss, atrium and aorta. Single gunshot to the heart and brief. Death was instantaneous. Okay, so I thought if they was like, oh, there's 2 gunshots, then it would make proof that that gun that has 6 chambers in it was not necessarily the murder weapon, because then another bullet would have to have been shot, and it may have not been from that gun, which means that maybe that would have been the Heartbreak Killer's gun. Let's see. No injuries anywhere else, and no blood or skin under her nails. But spatter forensics and all that other good stuff tells me that she was shot from there. So the killer was standing in the doorway when they fired. Motherfucking killing joking her. Okay. Like when Joker shot Barbara Gordon. That's all the big ticket items. What about the security? Looks like the apartment was unlocked all night. It's not uncommon for people their age in a neighborhood like this, but no signs of forced entry only hurts my client's case. What about the rest of the room? There's not much else flagged here. There's a lounge chair that got thrown and whatever that is. Identified ceramic debris. Flag is irrelevant. That's the technical assessment? Because even the crime scene techs weren't sure what to make of it. Okay. That's everything the police highlighted. But did I miss anything? I don't think I did. I think I got everything. Hold on. Oh shit. Something in the victim's hand? How in the hell did... Oh, it's just a pill organizer. It's like some immune adjusters, NSAIDs, and tripexazone, a synthetic glucocorticoid medication taken daily to reduce rejection symptoms like phantom pain and generalized itch. She said her tox screen was clear, but it's not like it matters. She could have swallowed every medicine cabinet in the city and it still wouldn't change the cause of death. It's odd, but ultimately irrelevant. Everything else here is very incriminating, but the kicker's everything that's not here. No out-of-place DNA, footprints, crumbs. Oh, talk about the internet thing. Oh, okay. IoT improves lives through the use of crumbs, small packets of data containing your unique identifying information. Okay. Privilege identification and payment. Crumbs that you see where you've been so long you can see where Crumbs that you see where you've been so that you can see where you should go. Once not leaving crumbs right away, don't worry, crumbs are enabled by default. the Internet of Things, which is an actual term anyway. So it's a collection of data. It's like a data footprint is what it sounds like to me. But it's a data footprint that's dedicated to specifically like things that should not, that are like, you know, like identifications about you. The data footprint could just mean like where you've been necessarily, I think, right? Or am I incorrect on that? I'm not sure. Nothing that points toward anyone except my client. Well, I've done more with less before, but not much more. Okay. Victim was shot from the room's doorway. No expected data present. No expected crumbs present. No expected fingerprints present. No evidence of digital tampering. Not looking good. Not looking good. Got fucking pills. I got some debris. Single shot to the heart. You're to blame. You give love a bad name. Only my client's fingerprints on the gun. Base not broken. Glass shard tin. This is... To say this does not look good for my client is an understatement. But, okay. I was loading in the, okay. When they're gonna have to sing for my supper this time? Better get started. Who the hell's messaging me at this time of night? First person who comes to mind is, I suppose it could be something important. Texting with Rat. Red. But couldn't wait till morning. Good news, of course. I got a job for you. That's a pretty cheery way to tell me you violated parole. Lol, not that kind of job. Besides, I've been covering my tracks. This is something different. Kind of thing I can't handle with a keyboard and a phishing scheme. I got a hacker friend! I need you to sue my gym teacher. Not that kind of lawyer, sorry. Hey, at least let me finish. What do they do? Make me run laps. Sue him! Sue him to hell and back! Not illegal. Let me finish. They made me run laps. Even though I said I had a stomach ache. Said. Gotta be like youth endangerment. Depraved indifference or some kind of shit. Sounds like you already got a strong case. Try self-representing this time. What's with the blow-off? Nice phrasing. Oh wow, I'm laughing so hard right now. I think there's a slash S at the end of that. See? Yeah, it's definitely a slash S. Is that your mugshot? I wasn't gonna not get a copy of my mugshot and use it as a reaction. Glad you found a use case. But I'm working right now, so anything cool? Homicide. Oh, cringe. Because you know, when you think of homicide, the first thing you think of is cringe. Wait, what kind of homicide? Is it HBK? What the fuck? Is that the kind of morbid thing those kids your age talk about? Teens my age. And yeah, we can read. Compared to the corrupt shit in the headlines. Old-fashioned murder like Hardy B is, oh my god, people fucking idolize this person? Quaint. It's not heartbreak. Then why'd you take the job, lol? You see the 98% conviction rate as a challenge or something? 98% conviction rate, holy shit! Well, we're gonna be that damn good 2%, let's fucking go. You taking up lost cause, probe nose work? It's pro bono. That was autocorrect. You know they give lit homework for a reason, right? This is borderline concern, nagging. Maybe you really are a bleeding heart. Or just a sucker. I'm not a sucker. Nice phrasing, lol. You should go to bed, Fran. Tomorrow's Sunday. I can stay up if I want. Tomorrow is Sunday. Because today is Saturday. What's with the carpe diem shit? It's nearly 4 a.m., kid. You got school in like 3 hours. Wait, what? Shit. Repeat offenders may be good for business, but that kid's bad for my blood pressure. Important text message, I take it? Just your typical teenage drama. So then, if you wouldn't mind filling me in on a few details. By the way, I couldn't help but notice that you're light on staff. It's 3 in the morning. Were you expecting a parade? I thought there'd at least be a few androids around. Aren't many androids at any police station this week, not while the brass is renegotiating contracts. Contracts with Noble? Good guess. Wait, contracts with the androids? Hardly, they're the biggest robotics corp there is. Could spend all day in Center City without leaving their office's shadow. Yes, we're very fortunate to have them headquartered there. Save us some money on shipping at least, but these talks never last long. I'm sure they'll be able to bring back to writing checks for Noble ads by the end of the month. Even with Noble pushing those warm androids. Warm, ugh. Might as well call in the adult line. Might see him in the bigger departments or out on patrol, but not around these offices. Warm or cold, there's no such thing as an android detective. Yet. You really think that'll happen? We already use ads for patrolling, securing the scene, pacifying crowds. Doesn't seem like a big of a stretch to me. You're joking, right? Android detectives? With all the pain we go through getting witnesses to talk to us? With your warm personality? Can't imagine. A cop knocks on your door, starts asking questions, you're gonna be put in a bad mood. An ad knocks on your door, calls you a degenerate criminal in a synthesized voice loud enough for the whole neighborhood to hear. You're gonna start posting shit that will get you put on a list. Well, we certainly don't want that. But flesh and blood witnesses are becoming less and less common anyway. Cameras, sensors, satellites, we already get all our facts from machines. Get a few more years, it might make sense to let machines do the investigating too. I wonder if this is gonna be one of those games where the whole entire theme is gonna be about like, don't rely on machines, or is it gonna be some other shit? Is it gonna be more about human nature, or is it gonna be more about the nature of technology advancing? The union would. The police union wouldn't let that happen though. Well, fuck them. She didn't have specified. It's the only real union there is anymore. Fuck, that's not good. Give me the deets. So how about the basics? What exactly has my client been charged with? Your client, Carlos Baker Flat, was arrested on the scene at 9:50 p.m. Okay. Okay. Civil disturbance Sims 2, Richard at Perth, industrial modifications, pending known affiliates, and psychoval. Using his middle name already, they really do think he's a serial killer. The charge being the first-degree murder of his girlfriend, a Miss Diane Dawn. First degree, that's 27, agricultural genetics. No known connection with previous HK victims. Increasingly rare. I mean, to be fair, he could have shot his girlfriend but not be the Heartbreak Killer and just found the Heartbreak Killer's gun. To say the least. It's rare for us to get handed anything but crimes of passion around here. He's got near more cameras than people, so you gotta be really, really stupid to try and get away with murder. I see where they're going with this. Well, Heartbreak's gotten away with it 6 times. So what? So what's that make him? 5 times. And that makes him insane. I was gonna go with extraordinary. Let's split the difference and say he's extraordinarily insane. But not jobs like that aren't renowned for their ability to think ahead. So what makes you think this was premeditated? How about the fact that he stalked and killed 5 other women as a warm-up? A warm-up? 5 previous bullets, 5 previous victims. None of them knew each other, lived near each other, worked in the same fields. Weeks of digital autopsy crawling up and down their online profiles. Interesting. Huh. Grave cobbling, how to stop stolen identity, how to delete dead profile. Ah, I see. The data of someone after they've been... Okay. Nothing. So this serial killer chose his victims at random. If they have nothing in common... Yeah, nothing in common at all. Other than they all look like cousins. The physical similarities are striking. All 5 prior victims were young women with brown hair and eyes, about the same height, comparable weight. Well, all those features aren't exactly uncommon. Couldn't it be a coincidence? If you really believe that, you should quit your job and start buying lotto tickets. Joke's on you, I did buy lotto tickets this week. HK's got himself a type. Anyone can see that. You really gonna try and tell me that you don't see the resemblance? A young woman, brown hair, brown eyes. Can't tell how tall she is from a portrait, but I can take a hint. So you think what exactly? That Carlos Flat wanted to kill his girlfriend so badly he went out and shot 5 other women first? Hey, if the shoe fits, then you put the shoe on the... What Sunshine means is that it's not uncommon for killers to displace their violence from people close to them onto outlets with fewer consequences. Yeah, okay. Directors, loners, strangers, workers. He was probably building up the nerve for tonight by first practicing on those other similar women. Or he's just so far gone that he can't tell the difference anymore. It's not the worst theory in the world, but it doesn't fit. They want to claim that those previous victims would practice dress rehearsals for tonight's main event. But if that were the case, there'd have been signs of hesitation, nerves. There's no way he would have made, especially the first gunshot, there's no way he would have been able to shoot with pinpoint accuracy 5 times in a row if he has not been a killer before. Is that what she's trying to go with? This mic back a little bit, move myself back. There have been some mistakes. On top of which, guns are impersonal. Execution shots even more so. There's no sadism or hatred or intimacy in a single bullet to the heart. It's a one and done thing. I guess so, because knives are more of the weapon of passion as opposed to guns. Well, I say passion. I'll say emotion. I want to use passion. Killing your girlfriend or her lookalikes usually is, if nothing else, a lot less sterile. Ask me. What the fuck? I saw the time of death was 9 p.m. on the autopsy, but do you have any timeline for the rest of the night's events? What the fuck was that? What the fuck? Can't trust much of what comes out of his mouth. We've even managed, thanks to less biased sources. I'm pretty confident about what we've been able to piece together from their statements. So they interviewed witnesses? Sounds eerily similar to real police work. The suspect and his girlfriend were arguing loudly with one another starting around 8 p.m. Okay. Neighbors were very clear about that part. Couldn't wait to tell us about the happy couple's domestic problems. Yeah, that sounds about right. Everyone in the building knew they'd been fighting for weeks. As you probably gathered from what you saw in the arcs, there was a struggle. Furniture turned over, glass shattered, but things go quiet sometime before 9 p.m. And then there's a gunshot. Scrubbers are still scrubbing, looking for audio from the area to get to a timestamp. Which is the process of scouring all available data posted on the net within a certain time frame and location range for evidence of a crime. That's cool. Okay. but we heard it from enough concerned citizens to be pretty damn sure about the time. Right, emergency services got a burst of calls from the block shortly after 9 p.m. No one seemed to recognize the sound for what it was, but the silence that followed was pretty universally alarming. Officers arrived at the scene at 9:08, it's pretty fast, established a perimeter, entered through the open front door at 9:10 p.m., and they find your client crouched over his dead girlfriend, his hand covered in her blood. At which point they moved to secure the scene and the suspect. Sorry, did you say his hand, singular? Your client's modded, cybernetic right arm. How modded are we talking about here? So just like from Cyberpunk 2077? Yeah, okay. Registered with a HAL 85 Habilis, industrial grade looks like. Says he's spec'd for dexterous manipulation of up to class 4 KPA, which means a minimum grip strength of, well, basically, you can crush your neck without even gritting his teeth. Oh, that's cool eye she's got. Considering a career change? No, it's not that. It's just your eye must have been very sensitive for you to put the patch back on each time. And here I thought you had a 14-year-old sense of fashion. A tuning perhaps. You think a cop would cover up her dominant eye because it was fashionable? Maybe. I actually thought the same thing the first time we met. You what? But getting back on track, that arm of his has been in the shop for some time now. He can't work without it. Money got tight. They're arguing? Yeah. When did he put his arm in for repairs? 8 days before HK's first victim was killed. Which arm is it? It's his is it his right arm or left arm? Well, no chance to be willing to chalk that up to the coincidence. The client was arrested on the scene after a preliminary scan found his fingerprints on the revolver, and no one else's. A revolver? What kind? The old kind, the really old kind. More specified a Claver M54, 6-chambered 10mm. Calver, how retro. With the max match, the bullet which pierced the victim at 99.97% at certainty. Okay, bears fingerprints with the matching left hand with 99.91% certainty. Okay. Rifle marks show the bullets from previous Harper killings with the 99.98.99% certainty. Holy fuck. The fuck is this case? So he touched it. It was used to kill the victim, and it has been confirmed basically to have killed the other victims. So, for all sense of purposes, this is the Heartbreak Killer's gun. He argues Heartbreak Killer breaks in, tries to kill her, knocks out the dude, kills her, leaves the gun, but not before putting the suspect's hands on the gun to make it look like he's the killer. That could work. Okay. You don't know the half of it. We're talking steel chamber with your gunpowder, mechanical firing pin, and no tags. No tags? How is that? Just how old are we talking here? Yeah, 24/7 location data, timestamp trigger pulls, safeties coded to owner's biometrics. For the past 3 decades, tags must have made shooting crimes very unambiguous. So you're claiming my client used some kind of antique to commit these crimes? How else do you think you've gotten away with this 5 other times? No, this is good. This is good because then we can prove that even though his fingerprints are on the gun, that doesn't mean that he fired the gun. If we try to buy a gun legit, it probably failed the very first spike check. And even jailbroken pieces are only good for so long before update withdrawal sets in. It's an M54, that's model year 2054, a 30-year-old gun. So this is set in 2084. Well, that sure complicates things, doesn't it? In some ways, sure, but pre-tagging firearms are rare. Gotta be less than 1,000 of them left in the whole country, and fewer still compatible bullets. The ammunition would have to be over 30 years old too. The novelty of his weapon has kept us in the dark so far. Now that we have our hands on it, it's gonna put him away for good. Archive department complained loud as hell about how deep they had to dig. But with the protocols they found, the techs were able to match your rifling marks on all 6 bullets of the gun your client was found with. Okay, we know about this because we just looked at the evidence. Rifling marks. But okay, yeah. We know about this from Ace Attorney. Okay. It's not as plug and play as tags are, but it's equally precise science, I assure you. And if that's not damning enough, the spent casings from the other 5 shootings were still in the chamber, without even needing to reload. The cover your client was found with is the gun HK used to kill 6 women. No way to lawyer around that. An untagged gun, just being anywhere near a weapon like that would warrant your arrest. Being found by the police over a dead body with a untagged gun used at 5 other crime scenes is just... To summarize then, you believe my client fought verbally, then physically with his girlfriend, then retrieved this weapon and shot her. Yeah, pretty much. If he was planning to kill his girlfriend enough that he didn't with any hesitation was able to shoot 5 other people, I feel like he would do a better job of covering his tracks, especially if he only had 1 bullet left over in the gun. Yeah. You can't argue it's a spur of the moment thing. You had to, you can't argue it's a spur of a moment thing if he's been, killing 5 people that look like her beforehand. He was gonna kill her at that point. I mean, if he killed her, which makes me think that he didn't kill her, but I don't know how this game goes. How did he look when the officers found him? Guilty. How was his effect? Quiet, detached, stiff. Not exactly the picture of a grieving partner. That reaction may have lost some points with the cops, but beyond that, people react to loss in all kinds of unusual ways. And so long as the police are suspicious of you, there's no right way to grieve. Yep. Checking my phone here, and I have to say, you've done a pretty admirable job keeping the details of HQ's crimes a secret. Thus, reputable sites are doing some real journalistic acrobatics, trying to piece together a story. Yeah, top 11 theories on who hurt HK was a real weighty read. It's not just journalists though, all kinds have been emboldened. The freaks that HK's managed to bring out of the woodwork in just a few days. Can you blame them though? I mean, he's a genuine serial killer. Repeat offenders in general are an endangered species, but he's gotten away with... Who knows what he's gotten away with? Take a look around us, detective. National DNA registry is robust enough that cases never go cold. Cameras on every street, a phone on every citizen, violent crime at all-time low, and clearance rates at all-time highs. But you gotta spout some outpoll bullshit about invasion of privacy? No, I'm not. People are safer now than at any other time in history, detectives. So when something like heartbreak does come along, good point. London's trying to look like he can laugh it off, but pressure from the higher-ups must be reaching its peak. They want, maybe need, to see someone charged, and that makes them predictable. Well, even if there's nothing standard about HK, Department SOP still dictates that we starve the media for a day's details. That way, when we do feed them, they're grateful for whatever scraps they get. But we can't take all the credit this time around. Homicide's tight-knit and tight-lipped, but it's not like there's much information for us to leak in the first place. And why is that? Because none of the shooting victims were caught on the opt-in criminal surveillance system. Interesting. Opt-in criminal surveillance system, abbreviated as optics. All right, good one there, I guess. Allows for the free sharing of surveillance and security data to better promote and preserve public safety. Well, this is some perseverance shit right here. Oh, goddamn. Allows users to search through and collate. Yeah, I think it's collate. Yeah. Footage from a city of tens of millions in just a few simple keystrokes. Interesting. Often serves as a key evidence in criminal proceedings, where it is considered admissible by default. Optics. I get it. Because it's, yeah, okay. How's that even possible? No, there are some rough areas in the low wards, but Optics is watching every other street in the entire city. You're saying you haven't seen this killer on camera once? You'd think we'd have let him kill 6 people if we did? I understand your concern, ma'am, but Optics is only what it says in the name. Private surveillance system signing up to feed into the state's security network. It's not perfect. It's another one of the many public safety tools in our belt. It's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to help us solve crimes, or at least act as a deterrent. One would hope so. Fat chance, deterrents are for war rooms and board meetings. Anyone crazy or desperate enough to commit a crime in a city like this wouldn't care less about anything as vague as the consequences of their actions. It's a safety blanket, one with a very few holes left in it, but it does have holes. Patching up those remaining holes takes effort, and that effort usually means rebooting the system. There's all kinds of technical details and digital bureaucracy involved, but the end result is that there are occasional localized blackouts, and the math used to schedule them is not impossible to predict. You're saying this guy predicted 5 separate times when the system would be down? 6 possibly even? But those windows of an opportunity are small and short. Taking advantage of them requires specific knowledge. You need to be involved with law enforcement, pub data, or city planning. And let me guess, you're gonna make the claim that my guy, because he works, wait, what does he work as? They'd have mentioned it if my client was a cop, and he wouldn't have needed a public defender either. This file says he's modded for heavy mass manipulation, not tech interfacing, so this leaves city planning. So does he work in construction for the city? HK has only ever struck at times and locations where Optics would be down, even with the devil's own luck. It can't possibly be a coincidence. Oh, devil! Of the devil! They said part of the title. Wait, so you're saying when this woman was killed, yeah, there was a blackout from around 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. 8 p.m. I accidentally put on my stream to make sure everything was good on Twitch, and I accidentally heard myself twice, and I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, there was a blackout from around 8 to 9 tonight. Okay. Right on schedule, so to speak. And it included the area around the victim's apartment. Would that explain the silence? Also? Well, what about the DNA from the other crime scenes? Was my client a match? There's been no blood, no saliva, no suspect DNA at any of the crime scenes. Damn. Okay. No footage and no forensics. Also no motives, tampering, or witnesses. It's been like hunting a damn ghost. We didn't even have a murder weapon. Until now. Finally, a lucky break for the boys in blue. Scanners, cams, drones, forensics, no matter how you dress up with tech, all detective work relies on one basic assumption. People make mistakes. Yep. But HK is the kind of monster who doesn't make mistakes. Only reason we ever caught him tonight was because he finished what he had set out to do all along. So was my client on the list of suspects before tonight? When you listening, there was no list of suspects. We questioned some execs, a few CIs, someone even spoke to 1 or 2 unlisted at some point. Nothing came of it. There was talk about starting on some kind of psych eval or something, but I never expected much to come of that. There's just not enough there to work with. In other words, the only thing they could have to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. Exactly. So if we prove that the murder weapon was not fired by the client, we prove that he is not the killer. If I can jostle that keystone, and the rest of their case should start to come loose as well. Thanks for your check, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think? Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly gonna have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt. And why is that? Because we found a handwritten confession at his desk. Well, that's unexpected. I'm sorry, you're now telling me that he wrote a confession? Has it been verified? Not yet. We have to muscle past everyone and fraud into disinfo to get the front of that line. Why bother? The note's covered in his fingerprints. But just because it's covered in his fingerprints doesn't mean that he wrote it. He could have been holding on to it. What the fuck? There's a copy in the discovery data. I'm sorry. But I should warn you, it doesn't exactly make for light reading. I have to manage somehow. I need to see this confession for myself. Oh boy. Sorry for everything. Can't say it enough. Didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not want any of it to happen. Can't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't mean to at first, but I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt too, but didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough. I know that now. I'll take responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me. That was difficult to read. It was fine. Not the worst murder confession I've read. Barely legible, in fact. Well, gotta spin on that? No need. But it's a confession. Not a confession that he signed, though, is it? Not yet. And not one he intends to sign anytime soon, considering that he asked for representation. Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer and got you. Guess you're both lucky. Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call came out. But I'm not so flush with work that I can't afford to I'm not so flush with work that I can afford to turn tail now. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he? Look, counselor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to that man being responsible for 6 murders. 2 hours or so in cuffs isn't cruel or unusual, and that's for your safety as well. It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be in any danger. He's killed 6 women. None of them were redheads. Seriously though, I'd like to speak with him alone now. Cameras off if you don't mind. Mike's on or off is your call, counselor. But we'll be watching the feed from right outside in case anything happens. And the cuff that is, stays on. That worried about me? How chivalrous. Yeah, my armor's practically blinding. Gross. I'll start up the unlock cycle. Counselor, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I suggest you help him sign that confession. Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way. But the defense part of defense attorney isn't just for show, detective. I mean it. 6 people dead is one thing, but it's also caused weeks of unspread terror and public unrest. Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime if there ever was one. And even if the death penalty is not exactly on the table these days, I can guarantee he's not gonna like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. Look, I've seen the virtual work release program in person, and it's... Oh boy. Oh boy, not much information, huh? Being challenged before the Supreme Court. Yeah, sometime in the next decade, maybe. Just remember, a plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but if it keeps him from Well, that's probably a win for your client, right? Prison sentences are generally lighter for those who plead guilty. That much is true. It saves the courts a great deal of time and money, and they show the gratitude with reduced sentences. But no one will ever be grateful towards the heartbreak killer. And when convicted for killing 6 people, they'll never rest their mind another day in their life. Stretch for a second. Oh boy. There's a lot of dialogue in this game. Oh. Oh, my back. Okay. Switch my neck. It's depressing as hell in here. They need to liven this place up. Carlos flat, right? Hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. We've got a lot to cover, but this shouldn't take all night. What are you... Look, I already told you people, I'm not cop Carlos. Furthest thing from it. I'm a lawyer. You're a lawyer, in fact. And I'm here to help you. Yeah, well, they said that too. All of them did. Back there, in here, keep repeating it the whole ride over. They said they were going to help me, that they knew this was all a mistake. Then they said that I killed, acting like they were on my side, and they thought that It's not their job to help you, Carlos, but it is mine, and I'm here now. He's still in shock. I need more information, but if I approach this the wrong way, he'll just clam up even more. I'm sure you're exhausted. It's probably difficult to think, let alone speak. But I'd like you to try and answer a few questions. The police already questioned you, I'm sure, but they were treating you as a suspect, not as a client. Okay, so what do you want to know? Let's work our way this way. Let's start simple, something mundane, grounded, and rude. I'd like to know a bit more about you first, Carlos. Something like, what line of work are you in? I'm with the city engineering. Or I was, or I should be, as I thought the police must be convinced he mapped the optics blackouts during data he stole from work. My arm, I got it slotted for the job. And, Carlos, I need more than that. So what do I do now? He works in city engineering, not a desk job. Reyes said he was modded for work, and that arm was in custody at the moment, but based on his shoulder, it'd have to be pretty... lifelike perhaps, with the fake skin and the fox hair and the simulated blow flow? As if. I've seen his apartment, he's that kind of spender. No, he's pragmatic, grounded, and very unlucky. In which case, I should be too. Oh, so utilitarian. No, my brother wanted to mod. Really? Really. I don't even have a brother. He had everything planned out, a whole career path of promotions and bonuses and upgrades they'd afford him. Then came his 18th birthday present, and test results politely informing him that he's not a viable candidate. That sucks. I think he felt relieved, actually. Seemed like it was a weight off his chest. Like he was glad he didn't have to choose. Does that make any sense? Yeah, I think it does. I always figured if I'd start at all, I'd start small, a hand or an eye, test the water. Never thought about lobbing my whole damn arm off, but the recruiter was enthusiastic. He said, cause of the NCDA, there was financial aid and resources. Of course, I got shit-canned, so now me and every other modder is royally screwed. Couldn't even let me keep the tax credit. The new Citizens with Disabilities Act was amended, not repealed. But I doubt he'd appreciate the distinction at the moment. I work the tighter spaces and high-volt environments, mostly canopy on upkeep. Typical stuff for modders, you know? He's speaking freely now. Don't need to do much more than repeat his words back to him to keep him talking. With the right word choice here, there can still make a difference. You work on the canopy, you must be good with heights. I guess so. Probably not that much information I can get from that, but still. But when the work's that technical, you don't focus so much on what your hands are doing, you don't have time to look down. Speaking of hands, why aren't you wearing your prosthetic right now, Carlos? Yeah, that. Rejection issues starting last month. A lot of sleepless nights. Rejection, did the therapy not take? Okay, that makes sense. You didn't have therapy because you had to, you're putting something new into your body, right? Attaching something new to your body. It's not like that. I wasn't oozing pus out of my sockets or anything. Then do these rejection issues have anything to do with your scars? Not in the way you're thinking. I'm right-handed. What? So those cuts on his face are just from shaving? Never let this go so long and have to relearn how to do everything. I mean, the problem started. There we go, though. We got our case. We got our case, folks. He's right-handed, and the fingerprints on the gun are his left hand. Which means he couldn't have shot the gun, because if he's right-handed, there's no way this guy learned how to shoot with his left arm, his human left arm, not his robotic left arm, his human left arm, and get precisely shoot people in the heart 6 times in a damn row. This guy is innocent. Let's go, baby. Just oversensitivity, they said, an easy fix. But the problem got bigger. Couldn't let it get that far. We probably could find some evidence of him being right-handed. Need to be able to trust your own hands when you're on the job site. Drop a cutter at the wrong moment, or people can get hurt. So I sat down, made an appointment, turned in my arm, and watched my case get placed at the back of the damn line. Where did it turn? Where did you turn it in? Some mass turnaround chop shop with a waiting list like you wouldn't. Doesn't sound like you're a happy customer. Hell no. I found a dozen other clinics with shorter wait times. But as long as I'm renting and not owning, the manufacturer decides where your arm gets maintenance. Okay, interesting. 5 weeks ago, average waitlist of 30 days. So he's right-handed, and he can't do much. And that's why I'm sitting here with this expensive ass stump for a shoulder. I haven't been able to work in weeks. Bosses were generous enough to say my position might still be there when I've got 2 working arms again. You couldn't buy or rent a replacement yourself just in the meantime? I serve at the pleasure of the state, and they've got exclusivity contracts with Hindi, all locked right knuckle tight. Hindi? Our industries. I mean, that was on the title of isn't his thing like a HAL 85? His arm? As I recall, he's registered with one of the habitless models. If I took one step on site with uninsured tech, forget the I'd be losing correct the fines. I'd lose the down payment and my arm. I'd never work in the city again. It seems so strict. You mentioned discomfort. Are you in pain? Pain will come and go. It's the itches that'll kill you. And the phantoms come back pretty fast when I don't have anything. Phantom pain? Yeah, phantom pain. I don't have phantom pain, but I do, like, when it comes, like, I get, like, VR chat every now and then. I don't have phantom pain, but I do have the only slight phantom sense I have is that, like, if I jump off of a building or jump off of, like, something with a huge height and fall, like, my stomach does have a little bit of, like, a feeling to it because it's stimulated by the idea of falsely falling. Which, this is gonna sound very fucking weird, and it's not like some psych thing or whatever, but I kind of enjoy the feeling. Not like I'd ever do it in real life, mind you. But it's like I would try a bungee jump, is what I would say. Arm shaped attached to me. Or like it's like roller coastering, yeah. Didn't they give you something to wear in the meantime? Something the clinics lend out for cases like this? What they gave me is a deadweight 3-jointed landfill bait piece of shit. Sorry, it's a very shitty feeling having part of your body that you know they cut corners on. It fits, it's compatible, technically. I can slot it in and feel on balance again. but the fingers don't even bend, and the quick twitch motors are way off. It's like walking around with your arm asleep or dead. So, were you wearing it when you were arrested? No, I wasn't. But I'm pretty sure so the police are backing it as evidence, so... Okay. Can't have gotten that too far. So Detective Reyes was being quite literal about how he was found, and the victim's blood on his left arm only, because the time in question he didn't have a right. No inconsistency with the story so far, and he's opened up about how as well as he could be expected. But this has all just been a warm-up for the both of us. Now comes the delicate part. Carlos, you and the victim were romantically involved. How long did you two know each other? Right. I've known her since college. We shared a few classes, some mutual friends, always got along. Eventually, we just got together at some point. Guess I never actually asked her out the real formal way. Sounds pretty cowardly saying that out loud. Diane, she was in Diane genetics. Focus her studies on agriculture. It always takes them a few tries to get used to using past tense. Just finished her post-grad work this year. Got hired right out of the gate, practically headhunted. You believe that? Practically headhunted. Of course she was. Any company would be lucky to have her, unlike... It was a real-ass job, paid real-ass money too, so her career was starting to pan out, right as yours had fallen into the mother of all slumps. Where was she hired? Pedigree? No. Pedigree Laboratories. I say that like the name matters. The whole setup's under Harco's umbrella. That doesn't narrow it down. Harvest Corporation grows a third of the soybeans and corn in the entire country. One client that size, the lab wouldn't need any others. Now, no corporation earns the mega prefix without a little throat cutting, but Harco is about as tame as big businesses can get. Predictable like the seasons. No one's gonna buy that. They had some lab tech murdered because of corporate greed. Had she adjusted well? So basically, she's saying it's not a corporal job, most likely. I think that's what Morgan is implying. Yeah. So she's saying that her death was most likely not work related. Had she adjusted well to her new job? Yeah, they loved having her there. She never mentioned arguments or disputes, corporate politics getting rough. I don't think so. Not like I've been a good listener lately. But I never got the impression that look, no one I know could do this to her. And there's nothing she could have done that would deserve what happened to her. It was a long shot hoping for a disgruntled character from her past to shift blame onto. But without other suspects, I can't just reshuffle the detective's suspicions. I have to disprove their arguments entirely. Thank you, Carlos. That was very helpful. It was? Now I'd like you to try and tell me whatever you can about what happened last night. Oh. Yep. Start at the beginning and take your time. The details are important. I like how I had 3 options and I picked the one that was the most tame, and now we've worked our way, which is nice. We worked our way from the tame stuff to the more dramatic stuff. We didn't start with tell me about the murder. It's tell me about you. And then we go down this way. Gonna get down and get more familiar with our client. So when you bring in the hard-hitting stuff of when you found your girlfriend's dead body, what was it like? That level shit, we'll be fine. All right, Miss Morgan. I'll try, Morgan. When you're ready. We were arguing. We had been arguing a lot lately. Arguing about stupid stuff. I haven't been working, haven't been making money, haven't been pulling my weight. I was mad at myself, but more than that, I was jealous of her. Jealous over nothing. Jealous over goddamn money. The reports say you're arguing around 8 p.m. 8? Yeah, that must have been when we started. We got into it and I said a lot of things I shouldn't have. I said one thing I really, really shouldn't have. I crossed the line and we both knew it, so I left. Yep. You left? Yeah, walked out the front door. Thought some fresh air might help me cool off. me figure out what to say to make it up to her. Of course, the air wasn't fresh, just humid, thick like mud. And while I was pissing away at the time, Diane was, "Did you bring your phone with you or any other electronics?" No. I kind of stormed off, didn't even take my key fobs. Didn't even lock the door behind me. Oh, bro, he's gonna feel guilty now! With optics down, traffic and street level cameras won't help him. That leaves, did you go through the checkpoint or talk to anyone with modded eyes? Did you buy anything, cash or credit? No, not even a vending machine. Not even a damn vending machine, huh? May have bet my match. How could anyone be this unlucky? That's quite unfortunate. I just wanted quiet at the time. Wanted to wallow in it, really. So if I don't have all the details quite right, my head is... But if my exact route would help, the cam is probably... What is it? Optics says what? Can that even happen? Oh, I see. That was me telling him. And there's no other proof that you were out at the time Diane was killed. Meaning you've got no alibi. This can't... Listen, I didn't do this. I couldn't. Carlos. I'm the one person you don't have to try and convince. After all, I'm your lawyer. So let's just get it all out there and see what we've got to work with. Right. That's a really good way of putting it. It's like, don't be mad at me. Look, these are the facts. I'm here to help you. So instead of you trying to convince me, let's just try and work together to see what we can find out. You know, if you're guilty or not guilty, I mean, it'd be great if you're not guilty. But if you're either way, it doesn't matter as long as we know everything we can to help you out with the best situation you can at the moment. Now, you said you left to clear your head. What made you come back? I came back because I heard a noise. A loud noise. I don't know what it was, but it was loud and it scared me. It came from the direction of our apartment. I was walking back at first. At some point, I must have started running because when I got back, I was so out of breath. And when I saw that the front door was open, something dropped in my chest and my lungs wouldn't... You live on the first floor, right? Yeah, first floor, first apartment, street-facing entrance. We were proud of that when we first moved in. Like it was some kind of big deal. From the hallway, I saw her, but I didn't realize. I never thought that she was... The lights were off, the whole room was a mess. I thought we'd been robbed, or she had fallen, or there was broken glass, furniture knocked over. And she was... I called her name and she didn't move. I checked her pulse and she was still warm. Her blood was warm. And then I saw the gun. It looked so heavy. I thought it had to be fake because I didn't want it to be real. Is that why you picked it up? What? Pick it up? I didn't touch that thing. I didn't shoot her, damn it. Doing what I do, you hear a lot of lies. White lies, blatant lies, hasty lies. Bad lies especially. For me, it's always been easy to spot a lie, but it can be hard to know what to do about it. I have all the proof I need in my files, but he's nervous and defensive. And none of this works if he doesn't trust me. Okay, stay up to date on the details of all the evidence by checking your phone. If your client notices that you don't know what you're talking about, they'll stop giving you any credit. You did touch the gun, Carlos. That's just a fact, because the fact that your fingerprints are on that gun. But I didn't do this. I wasn't thinking. I was just... Carlos, all I'm saying is that you picked it up. That's all. Would you believe me if I said I didn't realize it was a gun? That explains how his prints got on the gun, but not in the way that would satisfy the police. Still, all he did was hold the gun. Stupid. I know what a gun... I know... That's a typo right there. Why is there a second A? I know what a gun looks like. But seeing it in my own home, right in front of... You were in shock, Carlos. You still are. The police came in sometime after that. I don't remember much of what they said. Things started moving fast, it seemed like. The rest of my night went probably the way you'd expect. Carlos, you admit to having a verbal argument with Diane, but you said you were surprised to see the room trashed when you got back. To clarify, you saying you two never had a physical fight. What? Physical? We never fought like that. Did the police say we did? They assumed as much, which means they also assumed the room was disheveled well before the shooting occurred. Considering what Carlos first told me, what else did they assume? What is it? I'd like you to take a look at something for me. The crime scene. Oh, it's an AR module built from data taken as the police entered, so... Right, it's just data, Carlos. No grisly details. Okay, let me see it. Take your time. Alright, I think I've got it. That's how the police found things. Now close your eyes and think back to how the room looked when you left. Try and focus on what's out of place. Alright. I'll take your notes. You just say whatever comes to mind. I don't remember exactly where everything was. But, well, the mirror was upright, of course. And that clock was still on the wall. The chair got knocked over at some point, and the bed got tossed, the cushions torn, and the urn fell. Other than that... No, sorry, that's all that stands out to me. I see. Like so? Oh, yeah, nice drawing. What's wrong? Something out of place? It's... Well, I mean, being a defense attorney is a specialty, maybe not drawing, though. Carlos, you need to trust your instinct. If anything seems off, don't be afraid to speak up. It's just, I guess I just assumed your notes would be making edits to the AR. Well, I suppose that works, too.
Whoopsies.
Sorry, I didn't mean... What's upright? The clock was on the wall. The chair got knocked over. But it was torn. It got tossed. The cushion's torn. So I didn't mean... I think your drawing was pretty good, considering... I had to change the subject now, Carlos. Right. Let's talk about the letter that was found on your desk. Letter? What do you mean? They didn't...
What? They didn't tell you you had a...
What?
You think the police would be like, we got your confession right here.
I mean, this letter here, do you recognize it? Police are calling it a confession. A confession? But this is just a note to self. Pardon? Look, when we I lose my temper, say things I don't mean to. So this morning I tried writing things down so I'd have a script to stick to. So I could apologize to her instead of just fighting with her. Carlos, you say in the note that you hurt them? That's I broke her fidget tubbies. Her what? Her what? Fidget tubbies.
Whoa, what the fuck is this music?
They're these collectible ceramic character things. They're supposed to be like tactile. You use them as paperweights or conversation starters. Conversation starters? She loved those things. They're not worth a damn, and you can buy them at any flea market or garage sale, but they meant a lot to her, and I broke them. I mean, I was pissy at the time, but... But that goddamn piece of shit rental arm, I hardly know where I'm swinging it half the time. Got so angry I just ripped it off and tossed it in my room with that cheap, dusty, worthless... Okay, let's say he did break her fridge of duckies with his replacement arm. What does that change? Nothing at the moment. There's not enough detail in the note for me to prove what his intent was when he sat down to write it. If police insist on claiming his confession for the heartbreak killings anyway, couldn't even bother to sweep them up, I felt so. All right, Carlos. Thanks for answering my questions. Now I'm gonna call the police back in here, and I'm going to get this cleared up for you. Huh? That's it. That's it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Although before I do that, I do have to ask, what do you know about the Heartbreak Killer? Heartbreak? You mean that psycho that was trending all month?
I mean, as much as anyone, I guess. I haven't been getting out much, but I'm sure everyone's on edge. A guy like that out there, he shoots people through the heart, right? Police have kept their victim's appearance far away from any upstanding news sources. So unless he was already following the murders, Carlos wouldn't notice any resemblance to his girlfriend. I mean, she was shot in the chest, but that doesn't mean anything, does it? If he's this slow on the uptake, it's going to be a real shock when those officers walk in here and accuse him of being a serial killer. I just have to squash that theory as quickly and definitively as possible. Okay. Alrighty then. Cracks knuckles. Alright. I didn't realize you can smoke in here. Technically, I can smoke wherever I want for a fee. Holy shit, that's a lot. I guess so. Nervous? Don't be. I'm the one who's on the clock. Right, I'm sure this isn't your first time doing this. No, of course not. It'll be my first homicide defense, though. Oh. Why does everyone always think the first time is so goddamn important? Hey, cheer up. I've got relevant experience in other areas. Oh. And, what areas are those? You ever gamble, Carlos? No, ma'am. I never go anywhere near loot boxes. Won't touch the stuff. Good man! I meant more like playing cards. Oh, well then, no to that too. I actually got a pretty terrible luck. You don't fucking say. Could afford me. Well, what I do is a lot like poker, Carlos. Poker's nice because even if you're dealt nothing but crap all night long, you can still win, which makes things pretty fun. Okay, so, do you have a good poker face? I like to think so. And are you lucky? Only when the stakes are high. And, in this metaphor, we're playing poker. And the state's the dealer? If only. No, the state's more like the house. You mean like the house always wins? Yes. They're very good at it. Winning, I mean. That's why they're up there and we're down here. That's why they're the house. Why is it so menacing? So what do? We play the cards we're dealt as best we can. Win more hands than we lose. Keep it up and eventually someone will come over and tap the dealer on the shoulder and whisper something in their ear. And then we'll be politely asked to leave. Doesn't sound very triumphant. The house always wins. So a definition of victory is more like, don't lose. Thanks, Morgan.
Oh, I get it. So basically, the house always wins in the sense of they're saying that they need to get the Heartbreak Killer. So if we give them the Heartbreak Killer, right? Oh, if we can prove, because that guy was talking about the fact that the Heartbreak Killer is this mess because of, the state and making the state look bad, right? So if we get them the Heartbreak Killer, but we get our guy off, then we don't lose, but the house still wins, right? The house is still going to get a conviction at some point. They're probably going to catch this Heartbreak Killer. But I guess I was asking, like, what should I say? Just leave all the talking to me. So that's the strategy. What's up? You know there's a saying about gamblers with strategies? Yo, ready to confess yet? Because I already woke up the DA. Already? She must be new. The district attorneys have final say on whether or not a case is brought to trial. Only fair since they're the ones who end up having to actually prove the damn thing. Most of them prefer single guilty pleas over long protracted trials. And they all dislike having their time wasted. Unfortunately, then you have to call them back. Because my client is not guilty. And frankly, I'm not even sure you have enough to hold him here. Right. Oh, what she said.
You've got a weird sense of humor, counselor. Different generations, I guess. Before my time kind of thing. I'm very serious when it comes to defending a man's innocence, detective. Counselor, we have your client's written confession. His written confession? Let's start there. Okay, well, we'll be happy to. The rest of every argument starts with the facts, what's already known and agreed upon. Public knowledge for every player on the table. It's pretty simple, counselor. Real paint-by-numbers stuff. See, we found a note at his apartment with his fingerprints on it, apologizing for how he hurt them all so bad. How are you planning on spinning that? Those are all the facts. You cannot dispute those facts, right? But we can argue that what those facts mean to the case and if they have any relevance to the case. But I've been building up my hand all night, and now I've got the weapons to answer anything they try and throw at me. Well, my client did write that note, and it was an apology, but not for murder. He was apologizing for... Okay. Analyze the facts as they're laid out, then thumb through your responses in your hand. Drag and drop the card that best answers the argument into the slot on the right. You can mouse over your opponent's portrait for a reminder what key point you're answering. So... why can't I thumb over what... okay, whatever. Ceramic crap. He was simply apologizing for this. The hell is that? I found myself asking the exact same question. Win your first hand. I got an achievement for that. What are we looking at here? Something from the crime scene? It's a diagram of the room. It's created from data you captured, right? Pure, non-GMO, augmented reality crime scene data. Yeah. What's non-GMO? Not much these days. Rough. Notice anything out of the place? Yeah, the whole room's full of busted shit. It's the scene of a murder. Full of busted shit for sure, but I was more referring to the unidentified ceramic debris found at the western side of the room. The hell is that? Ceramic debris, huh? Must be from the vase that got tossed. Actually, it's not possible. Oh? Because that vase... it's not possible for that debris to have come from the vase, because that vase is still pristine. How is that possible? Pulls up a little bit there too. Does not exactly perform perfectly well. Lady at the garage sale told me they were so old and delicate. Damn it. One time I tried a thrift shop on my own. Well, so what? What does it even matter? If the vase doesn't have a scratch on it, then the debris must have come from somewhere else. And the debris is what my client wrote that apology over. You're saying the confession was an apology for not vacuuming? I am, because that pile of rubble is all that remains of the victim's collection of fidget tubbies. What he said. Mr. Flat broke the victim's ceramic figures by accident, and this impassioned note to self was just his attempt at scripting out an apology. Can you prove that? We're taking this seriously? As much as I wish we weren't. We're on agreement that my client wrote that note. Okay. And we can all plainly see that there was ceramic debris at the crime scene. Now, since it couldn't have come from the vase, it must have come from the collectibles. Simple, right? The hell are you on about? The entire room is trashed, as the arcs clearly shows. Those fidget tubbies must have gotten pulverized during the struggle too. You really gonna claim he sat down and wrote an apology for breaking her toys after gunning her down? Not a bad train of thought, but I could do better. No, those collectibles were destroyed much earlier than that, and there's proof. It's like it looks like the rental you took into custody. Huh? One swipe of your fingers should show exactly how devastating it was to the fickle buddy ecosystem. It's fidget tubbies. Whatever. You did take it into custody. I'm sure your text found ceramic debris on it, yes? Now that you mention it, fine, whatever, he broke them with his arm. While he was killing her, happy? Overjoyed, because even a cheap arm's got an operating system that logged the last time it was worn, right?
Oh, let's go.
Right. See, I happened to spot a footnote on the lab report that the rental had been used since the AM. Whose side are you on, old man? It's gotten pretty late, Sunshine. Just trying to save us all some time where I can. Well, thank you for your service. Well, thank you for your service. Are you seriously buying this crap? Just look at how scrawled, how panicked that note is. You expect me to believe that he was upset about a visit tubby collection? One that hasn't even been graded? Excuse me? Setting aside Detective Ray's surprising depth of knowledge when it comes to collectibles. You're correct, they held no monetary value. It would be odd for Carlos to be so shaken over their loss. But so what? So what? After all, it's not panic you're seeing on that page. No, the only reason that note looks the way it does is because Carlos... Because Carlos is right-handed. Yes, I am. Did they not know that? Shouldn't that be on my permanent record or something? So the reason why that note looks like a silent wall of scribbles is just because he had to use his left hand to write it. I tend not to think better writing than typing, and I need to get used to using my left anyway. Just thought it would be good practice. Taking that into account alongside the ceramics, your slam dunk confession is looking about as watertight as a fishnet. Okay, fine. Forget about the confession. Congratulations, counselor. You've established that your client's remorselessness. Remorseless. Let's get back to the reality of the situation.
Okay.
Here are the facts. We found your client at the scene of the crime, wearing a coat covered in the victim's blood, right next to a big old goddamn gun that so happened to have his fingerprints on it. That's right, that coat is what? You gotta claim it's not his? That he actually wears an exact small? He's trying to bait me in a typical low-key fashion. As the arguments flow, you won't always have the stronger hand. Sometimes the best you can do is hold your tongue and avoid overcommitting. Try to lose as little credit as possible when you wait for a more favorable chance. You must have something, no sense playing into it. Something you'd like to ask me, detective? I'm just curious what it'll be next. You gonna tell me he actually wears an extra small? No. Gee, Carlos, that you? Do you? No. Yeah, sure, there's no evil twin you've forgotten to mention? Okay. No. No, I'm afraid not. Not even gonna go for a mysterious third party at the scene of the crime. To prove his innocence, I need to get there eventually, but going there now without harder evidence.
I have no evidence of a third person at this time. Damn right you don't. It's clear as day in the arcs. No evidence of anyone but Carlos being there at that night. So keep dreaming. It was obvious he had something there. It wasn't gonna win at that hand either way. But at least I didn't overstep and take any more damage than I had to. Without contesting any of that, detective, my client freely admits to holding that gun. He picked it up in his confusion after coming home to find a brutal crime scene, which was not smart. Hey, but not illegal either. And that's all? He had her blood all over his clothes. Yes, he did. Right. Do you have those clothes on hand, by the way? The lab finished with them a while ago. What are you getting at? It'll be easier to just show you. Would you mind getting them from me? You know what? Sure, I can use the fresh air. Seems to bullshit in here anyway. Alright, lady. And here I thought the room smelled like... Morgan, what are you doing? My coat's covered in her blood. I remember that much. So doesn't that, like, make me look really bad? Just relax, Carlos. I'm pretty sure that's impossible. You're innocent. And that means having more evidence will always help you, not hurt you. Really? Really? Not really.
Plenty of innocent people in prison. People with bad luck or bad lawyers. People shouldn't count on the truth to come out easy. More often than not, it takes coaxing. What was it that it reminded me of? All right, here is it. One blood-stained jacket fresh from the lab. So what's your angle? You gonna tell us it's actually just hot sauce? No, that would be silly. She actually thought it over. So what the hell's your point? Hey, sorry, just thrown off by the turn of good fortune. What good fortune? You should thank the detective for bringing you your jacket collars, just proving your innocence. My client was arrested wearing this coat. He would have been wearing it at the time of murder. It has the victim's blood on it, who we know how he died when he was shot in the heart by the gun that happens to be old world pre-tagging firearm. And until his coat proves he couldn't have been the shooter. Is there a gas leak in here? In what world does that make any sense? Sense happens to be key here. I just need to draw their attention to what they can. Smell. Gunpowder residue. Just do me a favor, detective. Tell me what you smell. I don't smell anything except dried blood. There we go. No gunpowder residue. Exactly. The coat smells like blood, but it doesn't smell of cigarettes. That's what I've been smelling. Yes, detective, I was smoking earlier. Could you rejoin the conversation? I've been listening. You wanted me to smell the jacket? If you would. Let's see. Huh. No gunpowder.
Bam!
What? What about gunpowder? Oh, don't blame yourself for not noticing. This was before your time. You can't be more than a few years older than me. But not before your partners, it seems. See, gunpowder is weak by today's standards, but it's still volatile stuff. Hard to store, prone to misfiring. And when it goes bang, it leaves behind an awful lot of evidence. The hell is he talking about, London? Modern firearms like the ones we carry use electricity, magnetism, even air pressure or sound waves. They've got more accuracy, more firepower, less recoil, less noise, and they don't leave behind any residue. Gunpowder residue. You talked my ear off about how difficult it is tracking down a gun that doesn't leave any digital traces, but a revolver like this one? You leave gunpowder on the skin of whoever fired it for days. So then this coat, if you don't trust your noses, you can check the lab reports. If they found any gunpowder on my client or his clothes, they'd have taken the time to highlight it. Well, whatever. That just means he washed off shooting her or he changed his clothes. That's not impossible, but it would be pretty pointless. Huh? His jacket and his left hand were blood-soaked when your officers found him. Would he really have gone through all the effort to get rid of something as subtle as gunpowder residue just to get the victim's blood all over himself afterwards? In light of these details, I'd like to formally request that you reconsider the charges Mr. Flatt is facing as soon as possible. Whoa. Their faltering now should topple over at any moment. The letter was mostly icing on the cake for them, but the gun was all they had to link Carlos to any of the shootings. So if it looks like he never actually fired the gun, I'll admit things were looking pretty dicey there at times. But once I was able to grasp the situation, the smaller pieces fell into place easily enough. Not my cleanest work by far, but overall I'd say, did she just get a message? Wait, did they actually manage to find it? Something you'd like to share, Detective Reyes? You're good. Twisting the truth into knots, making the facts work for you. Thanks, but your luck just ran out. Because the net scrubbers found a cam active at the exact moment of the shooting, and right now, I'm staring at a photo of the killer. Wanna bet? A photo of the shooter. If she had that, we wouldn't still be talking. But I doubt she's just pulling out of her ass. She's got something from the scrubbers. She must have something. I'm not sure I followed, Detective. Didn't we establish that there was an optics blackout during the shooting? Sure, there was, but this isn't from optics. Oh no, I lost something. Good thing I held my tongue. As I thought, the scrubbers must have managed to dig up something from outside the network, which means... Party's over, counselor. Feast your eyes on this. Well, okay, the quality is lacking. And yet, there it is. They managed to find a quarter needle of evidence in a whole city block of haystacks. What are these goddamn chances? Note, with the scale that the tutorials operate on, guess the chances are, as always, in their favor. Alright, this isn't good, but it's a far cry from the worst case scenario I envisioned. You can even say I got lucky, which means the stakes are, well, it's a little bit blurry. Don't look at me, I didn't take the damn thing. Technically, no one took it. Looks like the time of shooting, a neighbor was on their phone, probably venting about how crazy the couple across the way was acting. But if their phone was on, its camera would be on. And so we managed to get the shot through the window. Where to begin? What the fuck? Hold on. What? Windows, the clock's over here. The chair's over there. The window's right here. Oh, this is also... The mirror was uptight, the clock was on the wall, the chair got knocked over, the bed got tossed. Okay, the cushion's torn. Far away, unfocused, ultra low resolution, zoomed in, blurred, color shifted, and so compressed it looks like it's from another century. There are tools that could enhance this image any further, and I could count the pixels on one hand. And you could kiss its admissibility in court goodbye. You can't honestly claim you can identify my client from this image. There's no way in hell you can get this past a judge. Yeah, you're probably right, we couldn't. I think I know a DA that could. Either way, it doesn't seem like the client's leaving this police station anytime soon. That photo, what the hell is happening to me? I think I know a DA that could? Don't be so modest, old man. We have photo evidence of a left-handed shooter standing in the hallway at the same time the whole neighborhood heard a gunshot. And who do we know has a left hand fingerprints all over that gun? You're referring to my client. You think? We've established he wasn't wearing his modded arm at all tonight, so he must have shot with his left. Yes, and we established he's weak with his left side. A left side that had no gunpowder whatsoever. Forensics will never be perfect, counselor. Sometimes we miss things. Sometimes you take a walk through the rain, and when you finally get where you're going, you somehow end up dry. But that doesn't mean it didn't rain. That makes no fucking sense. That's bullshit. All of which is to say before a judge or jury, photographic evidence outweighs a failed sniff test. But it was not just a failed sniff test, it's also fucking a lab test that shows that no gunpowder was on there. Bullshit. But I guess in front of a jury, they're not gonna look at that. God damn. Carlos is innocent, I know he is. But that photo shows a left-handed shooter. Carlos is innocent, that photo is real if both are true, and that means the photo doesn't show what it appears to show. So, at a loss for words, never. I'm just confused about one thing. Where was this photo taken from exactly? Oh, okay, I get it. This is a mirror shot. Wait, how is it? Yeah, this is a mirror shot. And if it's a mirror shot, then that's not his. Wait, but then it's not a clock. What the fuck? Yeah, where was this taken? Hold the phone. That's the mirror.
Do we have the ARC's data? Can I like go into the ARC itself? No. Store backlog. If we DNA on the phone's owner and ask them where, why bother with any of that? Ballistics and common sense tells us that the perp shot from the windows room's doorway. There we go. The front entrance of the apartment faces the south, and there's a hallway that runs back to the bedroom. We're looking straight into the shooter, so it's pretty obvious that this was taken from the north window. No, because if the mirror's there and the vase is there and something else was there, the clock would have to be over here. So why is the clock in the picture over here unless it was shot from this window? No, it can't be shot from that window there. Because... well, could it be? I'm shooting for it. No, I'm shooting for it. I wanna... okay, bam. Window, mirror. Okay, western eastern side. Let's look at the picture again. Mirror, what the fuck this is over here. The chair, the vase, and here's a clock over here. So how do you see the clock from over here? If the clock's over here, how do they see the clock from either here or here? They're in the north. This is from the north, and why can we clearly see the... It's not that complicated. The neighbor who got this shot must live on the other side of the street. So we're looking into the bedroom from the north window. If she's wrong, I can seize the opportunity to start turning the tide. I'm afraid that's simply not possible, Detective. This photo has to be taken from the west. What kind of bluff is that supposed to be? Oh, gotta sneeze. Holy shit, that was a sneeze. The good detectives are misinformed here, and I need to take advantage of it. Time to press the initiative. The hell do you mean it was taken from the west? The autopsy tells us the victim was shot from the doorway. The officers' ARC data tells the precise location of everything in the room at the time they arrived. And now the photo you've shown us the exact moment of the shooting. And you can now raise the ante on a hand up to the current max. Answer wrong and you lose more credit, but answer correctly, you can bank up more credit for trickier hands down the line. And altogether, that tells us that the photo must have been taken through the west window. As long as you consider... how do you raise the... okay. Max. Take one look at the... let's go, baby. Take one look at the clock in the photo. The clock, what about it? The clock, huh? Seems like London's got an idea. If he's mistaken, I can pounce on it to keep my tempo high. This photo was taken right before the shooting, so... wait, don't tell me the time of death is wrong. Good, that's a good question, Detective London, but the answer is no. The autopsy, the clock, and the neighbors all agree the time of death was 9 p.m. Right, no mistaking that. So then what the hell were you on about? There's a clock on the wall in this photo, analog style, and it reads 9 o'clock. 9 p.m. the time of the shooting. The hell's so special about that? Nothing. There's nothing odd about the time the clock reads, but do you remember there being a clock in the room? What? Actually, I don't recall there being a clock. That makes sense. You wouldn't recall seeing a clock because when the police secured the scene, the clock had already been knocked onto the floor. And the only clock in that room is on the northeastern corner. And my client has informed me that before the crime was hung up on the eastern wall, so, like so. What the hell is that supposed to be? An artistic rendition? It's very distinct. If you had information how the crime scene was before the shooting, why didn't you just add that to the ARCs? And show you my hand? Just because the discovery law compels us to share info doesn't mean we have to play fair, Detective. Slip my mind. I'll do that now. The important thing is that the clock was on the eastern wall before the shooting occurred, and this photo must be looking through the eastern window to see it. Don't start getting ahead of yourself. The victim was shot at 9 p.m.
the same time the photo was taken from the shooter. But you want to claim the clock's on the eastern wall where it should have been knocked down during the fighting. You've got the logic backwards, detective. Your presence photo shows that the room was in pristine at the time of the shooting, and there's one other piece of evidence that proves how the cards fell. Double shot pound. It was pristine. One other piece of evidence proves exactly how the cards fell. Oh, yeah. Glass shards, what about them? Nothing much, really. Only that they're on top of the victim's body. And not under it. If the glass fell on the top of the victim's body, that would mean that she was dead on the ground before the room got trashed. But doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone trash the room afterwards? It's a good question, Carlos. Luckily, it's detectives who have to delve into the minds of the criminally insane, not us. Tell me, detectives, were there any signs of struggle at the other crime scenes? No, nothing like that. Those attacks would have been over in a matter of seconds. So what did you think when you saw the mess in the bedroom? That this was personal and things had gotten complicated. Shit happens. Shit does happen, detective. But in this case, it seems there's been a general misconception about the order in which shit happened. So if the room didn't get tossed over until afterwards, he still shot her. We have a photo right here. I'm glad you do, detective, because that photo proves my client's innocence. Huh? Proving it wasn't my client who pulled the trigger is difficult. Maybe more importantly for all of us, time-consuming. But thanks to your photo, I can instead prove that it couldn't have been my client who pulled the trigger. Because the man in the photo can't possibly be Carlos. Like hell it can. The glass shards prove the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And we know that until the room was tossed, the clock was on the eastern wall. Which means the photo of the shooter was taken from the west. Back to this shit, that's impossible. The only hallway in that apartment runs from the north to the south. The only person with the prints on that gun is your client. And the only one that matters is that he used to murder 6 innocent people. You're a very honest person, detective. Excuse me? That's why you're such a city gambler. You played your cards too early, and now I can steal the pot right from under you. You're right about the hallway's orientation. You're right about the prints. And this HK figure has claimed 6 lives. But we aren't looking at the hallway in that photo. What we're seeing is... Bump it all up. What does this guy have? 2 arms. What does my client not have at the time of death? An arm. Your client's rented arm. I don't see it in the photo, but what? So what? He doesn't need a right arm to shoot with his left. Doesn't need a right arm to shoot with his left. What? No, in fact, he doesn't, which means the opposite is also. What? It's his arm. This person's got 2 arms. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, fine. Okay, what's the shooting? His girlfriend, a 6 HK victim. Okay. Oh, what are you looking at? Looking at the hallway in the photo. Oh, we're not looking at the hallway. Ow. Oh, wait. Cut. There we go. There you go. What's that? You're trying to glass shards again? Sort of. By the way, do you recall where those glass shards are from? Yeah, sure. They came from a standing mirror. Nailed it. Woohoo! First try. Woo! Yeah, didn't fuck up. Woo! Haha. Whoopsies. Mirror that at the time of the shooting stood across the room from the western window. But then that would mean from the angle from that viewpoint, it would reflect the hallway. So we're not seeing the shooter with a gun in their left hand. We're seeing a killer take aim with their right arm. And as we all know, my client hasn't been a working right arm in a number of weeks. He hasn't won his rental since this morning. Okay. Wait, now I was getting into that with the we presented the rental, but I guess I didn't make that clear. So I meant what I said about that photo. I'm glad it was recovered, because it just proved that my client couldn't have possibly have committed this crime. Only took one hit, which isn't bad. That should be the end of it. Except it looks like Detective Reyes really is a novice gambler. Stunt Cause has it got its teeth in her now, clawing up her spine, whispering wounded pride in her ear. It's a cold sweat, hot palms kind of fever, the impotent and irrational fear of losing something you thought was guaranteed yours. No one really likes to be wrong. Not at this level, I'll say. It's okay to be like, oh, I didn't know that, or I was ignorant, or I had a mistake. But when you go this far in, the harder you go in, the harder it is to admit that you're wrong. And then you just double down. But lucky for you, Detective, I'm well versed in shock therapy. You look dissatisfied, Detective Reyes. That's one word for it. Then allow me to put a nice bow on everything for you. In summary, my client's so-called confession was just a note to self. The police found him shocked, relieving at the death of his girlfriend, and arrested him for being next to a gun he forensically couldn't have fired. After being confronted with these facts, you received photographic evidence of the exact moment of the shooting, and instead of utilizing said photos to track down the real killer, you try to claim it's depicted my client, a man without the requisite limb, standing in an architecturally impossible hallway. That's could have had a backup arm. He could have stolen one. A little stubbornness can be charming, but this kind of desperation is ugly. It's getting late. Time for me to bare my fangs a bit. That's the best you've got? Even a bare bones. Oh, this is loud. Hold on. Just gonna turn it to like that because it was super loud there. Even a bare bones prosthetic off the black market needs to be auto-tuned to an individual's nervous system. And to bring it to a clinic, which could have left a record on his shoulder OS. A record you won't find. You still have to somehow get rid of it before the police arrived. SOP at the scene of a violent crime calls for a full spectrum scanning of the entire building and 100 meters around it minimum. So where, Detective Reyes, did he manage to hide a cybernetic arm from your drones in the time between the shooting and his arrest? Well, any objections? Detective Ray? Detective? God damn it! Ha! L. Show me your hand, Flat. You're uncovering me? In light of the evidence, we have no reason to hold you. Now I gotta go call the DA and tell her I made a mistake. Not we made a mistake, huh? Listen, kid, you should know. Detective? Lost my train of thought. But hey, your attorney is a real tiger, and she just fought like hell for you. Make sure you thank her properly. Public defense doesn't pay that well. Yeah, that's kind of you to say, Detective. My work is its own reward. Sure. You're exactly the same, Counselor. But what happens now? I'll have to speak with the DA about the dismissal, and there's still some paperwork we'll need to go through. But basically, you're free to go. Congrats, you get to leave the casino with your kneecaps intact. Yay? But what am I supposed to do? Detectives will continue their investigation. The investigation into Heartbreak, huh? Yes. When the authorities are satisfied with the examination of the body, it should be handed over to the next of kin. and then you can make funeral arrangements. No, that's not what I... Diane being gone is bad enough, but a serial killer, it's like she died of the flu. It doesn't happen anymore. People die of the flu all the time, but I know what you mean. I can't make sense of it. So what am I supposed to do? Hell if I know. There is some context I can give you. Services, professionals, doctors. No, you've done more than enough for me. When you get out of here, I was too tired. When you got here, I was too tired to even defend myself, to try and convince them that I didn't. You saved me. Thank you. You're welcome, Carlos, but it's my job to... No, I mean, thank you for not asking. For not asking if I killed her. Oh, Carlos. I didn't need to ask. I knew you were innocent from the start. Of course he was. After all... I fucking knew it. The blood's always different. Heart's always in the same place, easy to find, hard to miss. But the blood's always different. A flowering stain unfolding towards an invisible sun. A perfect unique bloom, only one for each of us. A Rorschach test of a singular, universal meaning, vitality at its climax. Bursting forth into a red fractal consisting solely of an infinite the end. But the comical thud of a body hitting the floor has its own kind of low-brow appeal. Well, neato, we found our heartbreak killer. Bullet number 606. The gun's empty. It's useless to me now. May as well leave it. Feels like a waste, but whatever. We got ourselves a killer and a defense attorney. Talk about a killer courtroom. I figured something was up. One, because when I looked at for this game, people would talk about a twist. They didn't say what the twist was, but I was like, oh, come on. And the moment I started this game and I heard about it, I was like, oh, come on now. So that probably was not good on me to see people talk about there was a twist in this game. Second off, just in general, though, like, the fact that this is our quote-unquote first murder case, and she's so good at this and knowing about bodies and gunpowder residue and all that stuff, they ain't no fucking first rodeo. Come on now. Likes high places, gambling guns, dislikes those people, mud headphones, spelling cages, mapo tofu, can't carry a tune. Whatever. Buying the ammo was almost enough of a hassle to outweigh the advantages. I can sell the untagged gun for a fair bit of cash. But cash can't buy you peace of mind. Oh, don't look so surprised, lady. Moping around in the dark in here, must have only been able to see my silhouette. Did she think I was her boyfriend back for an encore of that enthralling conversation? Can't ask her now. Hey, yeah, did you hear that? These old pieces are so goddamn loud. People aren't even familiar enough with the sound anymore to know to run the other way. Probably rouse half the neighborhood. But I didn't see anything I could use even as a partial suppressor on the way in. Could they really not afford to throw some pillows? Some throw pillows? I used the other 5 bullets in outdoor spaces and small spheres of blind opportunity that the city's eyes couldn't think to pierce. Oh, because if you're a public defender, you have access to knowing when the optics will be going down. There we go. Cramped places, usually full of trash. But this room, as cheap as it looks, is at least clean or organized even. So the corpse adds a certain satisfying contrast. Except, there's shit on the floor. By the window, there are broken pieces of something fragile and tacky. It's fine. Just one thing out of place. Actually, it's not fine. It's actually really irritating. Can't go over the stupid goddamn mirror. 5% crime scenes, each of them not a speck of evidence, nothing to go on. And for the final shot, there just has to be some pile of shit in the corner ruining everything. I kick the wall. Something falls from it, probably some more tasteless bullshit. I toss over the chair, knock the urn, tear into the sheets with my frustrations and try to save with the shredding. This girl's got some OCD going on, what the fuck? If it can't be clean, I just have to lean into the messy angle. At least it will be consistent. This was all so stupid. Honestly, I'm not the ego-driven type. In fact, I pride myself on my humility. Now, was it satisfying when the first 3 went down with single shots? Yes. But so what? I'm not made of stone. After that, I did start to actively aim for the heart, but... Ugh. Heartbreak killer. Really? Don't people have anything better to do with their time? What kind of miserable, lifeless warriors would obsess over something that's none of their business? All of these threads and breakdowns and goddamn theory crafting. And all for the heartbreak killer. Sounds like a soap opera villain from a season where the writers were on strike.
Damn, son.
I feel insulted by the label, but no, that's someone else's name. They came up with it. They spread it. They marketed it. Heartbreak's got nothing to do with me. He was just some reclusive, lonely, social, impotent loser who shot 6 people because... Oh. Well, I'm sure people will come up with something. That he got rejected 1 too many times or whatever. Me, I killed these people because I saw them and I wanted to. And I've killed a lot more than just 6. Oh boy. At least the room is thoroughly trashed now. If I had just walked away after seeing that mess by the window, it would have irritated me to no end. And now it doesn't make the MO of the last 5 perfectly, it'll irritate the cops to no end instead. Good riddance, Heartbreak. You enjoyed 15 minutes in the spotlight. Really savor it. I'm going home. The air is weighty tonight. Think. Energized. A heavily foreshadowed summer rain I can feel on every hair. They call this kind of humidity oppressive, but I disagree. The warm tension on your skin, like in those short moments just after the shower turns off, when the steam lingers, oh, that's a good feeling. Yeah, it always is most comfortable right afterwards. Maybe there's no disagreements to be had. Oppressive things can be comforting too. Only the guilty ones run. I don't know about that, but I know I've never felt guilty about any of this. And I walk. Okay. Sorry, using my left is still. That's okay. You can just initial in those spots. Took a scenic route home, courtesy of a fine city's sprawling public transportation, and got in a bit after 11 p.m. Had myself a thorough shower, drank a glass of milk, did some stretching, made sure my phone was on. Time went by evenly. Around 1:40 a.m., a posting for public defender work came up. Decent rate since it was so late and so urgent. I had wagered. A gambler with a system must be, to a lesser or greater extent, insane. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Well,
Tell that to every fucking gotcha gamer.
haha, me included. Had wagered correctly that the boyfriend would have enough sense to ask for a lawyer and enough depth that he'd need to be provided one. All I had to do was stay awake. There wasn't much competition after 1 in the morning. Okay, what else? Here and here. How did I phrase it earlier? Criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. Why wouldn't I take on a job where I already knew more than the cops? It would have been easy to convince Carlos to plead out. I would have gotten paid the same too. But easy is dangerous. Carlos was, of course, innocent, so his conviction would never be airtight. There would be doubts, questions, appeals, maybe even fans, depending on his looks. More attention on HK and his crimes, more headaches. A cold case rotting in the very far back of the public's awareness is always preferable to one open and shut in haste. Now, with no more murders matching HK's MO, there won't be any additional public pressure to find us a culprit. Now Heartbreak can just starve to death, out of sight and mind like any other fluke in the system. Almost done. Getting involved with the case this intimately does have its risks. Hell, I might have even overdone things here or there, like lighting up a smoke inside an interrogation room just to make doubly sure I didn't still I didn't still smell of gunpowder myself. I knew she lit that cigarette for a fucking reason. That London fellow seemed more fixated on it than I would have liked. But obviously everything turned out rosy, and it's worth it for the finality of it all. Seeing the authorities' failings from the best seat in the house, that's just a bonus. Thanks again, Morgan, for everything. I'm sure Diana's grateful too. Ooh, yeah. I bet you she is peachy keen in the afterlife. Funny. I didn't even know her name. Something the matter? No, sorry, it's just I was mad when I left the apartment. I know she was too. So when she died, death was instantaneous, Carlos. I can't imagine that she was in any pain. In fact, I can guarantee she was dead before she hit the ground. No, I know, but I just can't keep thinking that she must have died angry at me. That she must have died hating me. To tell you the truth, Carlos, there's something I've been wondering about myself. What is it? Something I've noticed in the ARC's data that I didn't quite understand. A piece of the puzzle that I couldn't fit in anywhere else. But maybe you can make sense of it. What is... Oh, and I had the option of not noticing the pills. That's right. Because I could have stopped the case. I could have stopped the looking at the crime scene, but I kept on going. Smart at me. Smart. All right. Woof. That was close. What? Where did you find that? That pill organizer was found in the victim. She had it grasped in her hand when she died. Obviously, the police added it to the ARCs, but it was quickly ruled irrelevant. It seems like it contained tripexazone, prescribed to help martyrs with phantom itches. They're small tablets, and those are tricky class 2 for a pill organizer. Could be hard to handle with an unsteady hand. No one would ever know what she was feeling when she died. Even if they did, feelings are complicated. You can feel angry, happy, and sad all at the same time. But as far as facts are concerned, it appeared that when she died, what she was doing was setting out your medications for the week. To my eyes, anyway. Poor dude. Sorry I killed your girlfriend. I mean, I'm sorry. She's not sorry, but I'm sorry. Long night. That was too far just now. Practically rubbing it in his face. It's not like I care about his feelings. I doubt I'll ever even see him again. But overstepping like that is pure hubris. And hubris invites downfall. So why did I even bother? It was the last piece of the puzzle, I suppose. I'll just need to show more restraint next time. Thought there won't be a next time for heartbreak. The gun's in custody. There's no more bullets left. There won't be a 7th victim. There won't be any more leads to pursue. The media will move on to the next obsession. I'll move on to my next MO. And no one will ever... Found you, District Attorney Rockford. Sorry, can I try that again? I'm so fried. By all means. Counselor Morgan. Morning, no, night. You're always so put together. I don't get it. How do you sleep at night? Pardon? You do white noise? Aromatherapy? Whatever you're doing, I need to steal it. God. I must have bags under my eyes dark enough for the dumpsters. It's Assistant District Attorney Emma Rockford. She's a prosecutor, a lawyer who argues for the state in court trying to prove a defendant's guilt. And despite her sometimes unkempt appearance, she's probably the sharpest person to fill the position in decades. I should know, since I haven't beaten her once. Worse yet, she has the remarkable ability to compartmentalize all that adversarial energy and only bring it out in the courtroom. It's part of what makes her good at her job, and hard for me to read. Should I buy a new mattress? What the heck got you doing at this ungodly hour, Emma? That's coffee, toffee, hot couture, sunburn, dead pixels. There, yeah, Ice Train, Benedict, like plays chess, Sogi, Idol, 7 stars. Oh, so she's a fucking genius. Okay, cat person, yes, yeah, definitely. Oh well, actually, I'm here for you. Me? Your client was a suspect in the Heartbreak killings. That's my case. Well, then you must have been relieved finding out that you won't have to go to the trial against me. No. Why would I be worried about going up against you? Oof. It's always the unintended barbs with her. So you're working with those detectives? Yeah, London and the new girl. Rays. They've been reporting to me in preparation for trial. Preparation for trial? That seems ambitious. I guess they gave you the rundown. They've been doing everything they can, but it's hard to catch a killer who leaves behind so little. It's hard to kill while leaving so little behind. So Reyes told you they had HK in custody and you popped out of bed and all excited to run down here? Hardly. I haven't slept in 40 hours. What? Too much on my mind. So I heard about a case with a single female victim shot through the heart. Yeah, my ears perked up. But that's about all. Oh? Uh-oh. I mean, Carlos Flat, a serial killer? The same serial killer that's outsmarted the Senate state for weeks? He's not using his middle name. He was found with a murder weapon. I can answer that in any number of ways. Wait, what? That may be true, but then I glanced at the report. You glanced at it? No gunpowder residue on him or his clothes. Right. Too remorseful, too unapologetic in the note. Whatever it was about. His dominant arm modded, with documented sensitivity issues. Never could have made shots that clean. Yep. Not without getting close enough to leave scorch marks. Yep. Not to mention he's too tall for the ballistics entry angles. Yep. He probably was too heavy to not leave any imprints. Yep. She got all that from a glance. Like the cut of this lady's jib. But I'm sure a competent lawyer like yourself pointed all that out in the minute you walked in here. Of course. Worst part is she's not even being sarcastic. Yeah, of course it couldn't have been him. Long-term relationship, physically imposing, argumentative, so not the type to bottle things up. He didn't match the profile. Profile? Yeah, Right, sorry, you probably never heard of it. I know what a goddamn profile is. A profile is a reconstruction of a criminal's psychology based on evidence from their crimes. Yippee. Trying to get your dating profile just right to be a full-time... Yeah, get that fucking shit out of here. Kind of fallen out of fashion for the last few decades. Not much need to guess about the why when 99 times out of 100 the who is caught on camera, or before they even leave the house. I've had some real fossils and oddballs to get advice on how to go about it, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. So is profiling is some kind of investigative technique? The theory is that the crime can tell you something about the nature of the person who committed it. Stabbing, overkill, points to passion, rage, lust. That's what I mentioned before. They probably knew their victim. Poison and guns, meanwhile, suggest they can't overpower their victims physically. And then there's the things you can assume about nearly all serial offenders. Childhood trauma, prior criminal record, few or no meaningful attachments. There's a lot of recurring themes in their stories. Detectives say HK doesn't leave evidence. So how much can his crimes possibly tell you? That he's diligent. Almost perfect. Highly intelligent, painstakingly organized, and with enough criminal connections to get his hands on an untagged firearm. It's weird to see this animated outside of the courtroom. It's almost like she's enjoying herself. A sheltered house cat who picks up the scent of a mouse for the first time. A lone wolf, educated, but all playful lethal instincts coming to life. Probably overqualified or undervalued. So I'm not thrilled about the fact that in the metaphor, I would be the... Know what I mean? Definitely. And considering the marksmanship, detective said the HK would have needed insider information on optics. So does it mean heartbreaks in law enforcement? Never in 10 billion years. Oh. Antisocial, independent, despises authority. That'd be like a stallion going for a job on a merry-go-round. They'd be kicking kids in the head after the first full rotation. Right, that's exactly how I'd put it. There must be some connection to the police, though. Maybe secondary or tertiary? These types can't help but insert themselves. Insert themselves? I do not do anything even resembling that. Wait, if HK is not a cop, how do they know about the blackout timing? Crime meta statistics analysis? Probably. Pardon? Take the emergency response times from across the city and map them out, look for brief spikes and delays, chart out the dips, and... Sorry, technical I know. But all the requisite data is publicly available. With a map, a spreadsheet, a calculator, anyone could reverse engineer the timing if they wanted to. That is such an unpleasant thought, Emma. Okay, so that's what the MO. At least this heartbreak maniac will slow down now that he's lost his weapon. He didn't lose it, he chose to leave it behind. That tells me he's confident he can do just fine without it. And and it just makes me even more certain that these aren't his only kills. Especially if the sixth woman was not like the personal victim, then that means he left his gun really for nothing. Because why else would you not just keep your gun with you, right? Unless you're trying to make it a calling card and be like, look at me, I'm the heartbreak killer, and I've done this, and then go off into fame. But that means you're basically done because, I mean, that's your MO, right? 6 shots, 1 bullet. I mean, 6 shots, 1 gun. Were those other shootings the same MO? No, not that I found. Are the victims that fit the description? No. But I'm not overly focused on the victims' appearance anyway. I mean, those 6 victims all look like each other, but they also look like a lot of people. That's true. Hell, they kind of look like me. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Oh boy. Do they? Oh boy. Oh boy. Sure. What, you don't see it? I hadn't thought about it. Point is, no one can kill that cleanly when it's their first time. Getting things that perfectly take practice. Oh, yeah. Getting things that perfectly take practice. So I know that HK must have had a lot more than 6 occasions to practice, Morgan. And that's why I think heartbreak is a misnomer. You got something catchy in mind? I just don't think shooting them in the heart has any particular significance. If anything, it's a testament to their accuracy and their cold-blooded efficiency. The best possible use of 6 untagged bullets. 6 kills guaranteed no matter what kind of life supports mods they were packing. The real signature isn't the bullets or the gun, it's the perfection. That's hard to wrap your head around. I'm saying that these 6 murders were just a fluke, a slip-up, a mistake? Exactly, a mistake. They got too clean, too efficient, and now they've got the public's attention. It's no wonder they're so pissed. Are you talking about the crime scene? Yeah, probably threw the detectives for a loop, right? Based on what you said, I don't blame them. Whoever trashed that room doesn't seem like the smooth operator you've been describing. On the contrary, I don't follow. This was the last bullet, their last shot. The other 5 were perfect. So if anything was out of place this time around, they must have thrown one hell of a temper tantrum. You make them sound like a child. Childish and cowardly. Two-faced. Someone who hates to lose almost as much as they love to win. Your profile tell you all that? That? No. That part's just takes one to know one. Oh, she's got you to a T there, Morgan, huh? So to summarize, you're looking for a cold-blooded, faceless perfectionist killer who you think has no persistent MO or victim type. in a city with an 8-digit population. Wow. Good luck. Yep. I don't need luck. I only need more information. Well, I'm sure the city would be happy to provide you with more resources. No, Morgan, I need more crime scenes. What? Oh. Sad truth is, if Heartbreak walked away today, I'd never catch them. Only way my net narrows is if they keep piling up bodies. Not a very fair trade, is it? No, it isn't. But getting screwed over is a given. It's a deal with the devil. Ah! Fair enough. Woof. Okay, that rant was pretty morbid and detailed. I need to get out more. Or sleep more. Or sleep less, but harder. Do you think a high thread count would help? Don't worry about it. I'm always happy to listen to you ramble. It's a lot more pleasant than having to come face you in the courtroom. Sorry, but that's the adversarial process. So no hard feelings, yeah? No hard feelings. We're both just doing what we do. I can use a cup of coffee. How about you? Don't tempt me. If you fall asleep face first onto the table, I won't even take a picture. Okay. Just don't expect this to make a difference next time we're at each other's throats. Heartbreak won't claim any more victims. In 2 weeks, the media will have moved on to the next sensation. And the police will have moved on to cases they actually stand a chance of closing. It's what people do. But Emma is different. She'll set it aside and work a dozen other cases, never bringing it up. But a private corner of that frustrating sharp mind of hers will continue to whittle away at it. Never finishing, but never quitting either. So I can't afford to take my eyes off her. As long as that's the case, I may as well try to enjoy the view. This is just Ace Attorney put together with Dexter, I swear to fucking God. But it fucking works. Which means you're going to be living with my friend for a while. For how long? I'm sorry, I don't know. There's no need to look that upset over it. My face barely moved. It may as well have been a blatant, a fellow robot experienced toxic Yuri Ace Attorney. Heck yeah. Fuck yeah, that's what I need. Give me that LGBT stuff. Give me that robot stuff. Give me that toxic Yuri with the LGBT stuff. Give me Ace Attorney stuff. I like the Ace Attorney stuff the most importantly, but like still, give me all that fucking shit directly into my goddamn veins. Also, what come on in? Must have been from Spate and Prout, but from where I'm sitting. Yeah, like that. This friend of yours, they're trustworthy? Absolutely. In fact, I trust them more than anyone. Hey, come on. It'll be fun. Really? Really. Educational too. $5 says that this person talking is the creator of the robots thing, because specifically speaking, when they talked up when she read that fucking paper about the robots thing, she specifically said, oh, he's in the news. Which makes me think that she has a personal connection with the inventor of like the new robot type thing. And if she's an android and he's saying, go live with my friend, and quote unquote, they're trustworthy, I bet you this is the inventor. Really educational too. I think you stand to learn a lot from someone like Morgan. Oh, this is definitely... I got this. Dr. David Asher. That's who's talking right now. Yeah. Man, they make you click the credits. Bold moves. This is the closest game to like what I would want out of a fucking game if I was making a murder mystery game. Different theme and setting, kind of, but same aesthetic. How many people worked on this game though? Oh, Dev Talk. I think I've heard of them before. Made with Unity. Nanny Novel. Oh, that's the Nanny Novel is the plugin for Unity that helps do visual novel stuff, I think. I had to research. I think that was the one. I was looking into that at one point. Pro Builder. Oh, I know what Pro Builder is. Sorry. Just, and he shall appear. They continued in. So you're the smartest person I know, Morgan, when it comes to people. Personally, I think it's cool to bring something that flawed into the world. You're a criminal defense attorney and we're at a crime scene. I think I can guess what happens next. I've never stolen anything that wasn't already compromised. Work hard and the company will have you set for life, and after too. Can't tell you how many musicians I've seen screwed over by a big smile and a fat signing bonus. That's not just a lawyer job thing. You dress like a doorman on the weekends too. Compared to the determining cause of death is like a breath of fresh air. The company wheels don't stop spinning for anything. We can't hope to keep this quiet for very long. But it's a million times more likely than the alternative that Heartbreak could ever stop themselves from killing. Father said that you owed him. I didn't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. But when I take a job, I never half-ass it. Of the Devil, Episode 1. And I don't mind. These are some solid titles, I'll tell you what. Just abstract enough to make you think. Two out of 2 articles, 6 out of 6 profiles, 18 key terms, 17 pieces of evidence, 28 total earned. Congratulations, you finished episode 0 with 28 credit. You also unlocked concept art and bonus scenarios based on your highest score for episode 0. You also have 28 remaining store credit to spend on phone charms and case colors based on the highest credit you've finished the episode with. What does that even... Return. She looks like a red-headed Kafka from Honkai. I can't get it out of my goddamn mind. Oh, I like the silhouette pairings they have with this. That's nice. I missed out on 3 things because I took a little bit of damage. Bonus scenarios. What does that even mean? Would it interview me? Very flattering, but there are more lively folks around here for you to question. I'm not gonna read this out because my voice is gone, but I'll still be going through this. I like the fact that they have these interviews with like people after the fact. I like this conversation about artificial intelligence. Generation Zen. Interesting. Unrealistic expectations. Some people call that hope. Hmm. I guess arson would be different than homicide. Mega corporation, short to megs. We'll do these interviews and I'm gonna stop the stream. Oh, this is the android person that's supposed to go off and meet with Morgan, I guess. But they tease the end of this game. That probably she's not going around interviewing people. Small plates. Tell us about your hobbies. Yeah, she mentioned automotive history earlier. But I mentioned that in her little profile. The function's been altered from its original format. It's been edited for time. Time. She's gonna be ranting about EVs. Strong language. Dark and stormy. Oh, ginger beer and rum and lime juice? Actually sounds kind of good. I designed my interview process to extract all the kinds of same kinds of facts that are most commonly listed online. Whoa. Oh yeah, you need your stuff back, like your arm. Hmm. Feel bad for this guy. His girlfriend gets killed, and you know, can't even find the killer for his girlfriend because she's the one who represented him. Mood. Fucking mood. Lying down on the floor and exhaling. Oh boy. Fucking, that's a fucking mood too. Mega corporation seeing people hurting for a job and then just like, oh yeah, that's the ideal worker. They'll keep on working no matter what because they want to get paid and make sure they get enough so they can survive. I always say there's a difference of working enough to live and working enough to survive. Because living and surviving are two separate things. Oh. And one last one. Damn. All right. Oh, okay, that was a joke. Ooh. When people ask how you are or what you've been up to, they're not looking for anything nearly as so heavy as the truth. They're just following the template, and the polite thing to do is for you to follow the template as well. Here, let's practice. Hi, how are you? I read this part out because it's interesting. I'm good, thank you. Way too late. The whole point is to be on autopilot. Now you force them to grab the wheel, check their mirrors, and no one's ever grateful for the extra workload. It's true though. The amount of times of when I was, especially in my younger years, you know, my mom, like when I have a call from like my parents, or whatever, like, how was school? Like when I was in high school, how was college? You know, when when I was in college, I'd be like, immediately be like, it's good, it's fine, everything's good. You know, when everything may not have been exactly good or exactly fine, or no doing nothing much. You know, no one's ever doing nothing. You know, they're usually just like on the phone or something like that, or computer, reading video games, reading, doing homework. It's like you automatically just autopilot to get something because a lot of times people just want to just, you know, sometimes people want to talk and then some people just don't want to talk. So they just quickly just switch over to like the like automatic just response you got because it's like, how quickly can I finish this conversation without being a rude person, you know? Instead of like, I don't want to talk right now, you just like, you give like small answers and stuff like that. Yep, people are fundamentally lazy. Yep. But that's almost Christmas. But almost Christmas means it's not Christmas. Oh my god, they did an Ace Attorney reference! Ah! Ah, that's nice. The humoring where they came from. That's a nice reference. Do you know your three sizes? That's so relevant today too. Okay. I feel like we're in a good place to stop. As soon as this loads up the little menu. Oh, the volume is so low here.
All right. We are going to find someone to raid into. Let's see who we can find.
Oh, my friend Nagi is streaming.
peek. I want to see if maybe I get some friends together to play that at some point on stream. It's like a fun game to play. Just gonna sneak ourselves in. This has been fun. I definitely want to play more of these. I wasn't gonna say I was like on the fence. I was more off the fence onto the I'm gonna play more of these side, but like this definitely made me more interested in playing it, especially since like you know, it has this kind of like, yeah, like this back and forth between the defense attorney and the prosecutor that's like goes beyond the regular ace attorney, like not liking each other, but like literally like Dexter cat and mouse. I haven't actually seen an episode of Dexter, but I know enough about it to know that this is very similar to like, they're like, oh, undercover, but still helping law enforcement in a sense. Kind of, a little bit, but not really. Also to entertain the radar. So I think maybe one day, it won't be for a while, maybe for like a month or two. Maybe I'll make my way and start playing through this. Maybe make this like a Wednesday game instead of my playing Tuesday game. I was gonna have this be my trial Tuesday game, but maybe I'll make this my Wednesday game because we're starting a new trial Tuesday game next week. What are we starting? Oh, we're starting Tyrion Cuthbert, I believe. Anyway, so today is Wednesday. We did this. Thursday, we're doing Metal Gear Solid 4. And then Saturday, I'm not sure what we're doing now. Most likely Donkey Kong Country. But until then, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.